Yeah, baby. Wonder if all my bad decisions get accounted in the algorithms. No statistician could dissuade me from my bigger vision. I know my occupation's quite an unlikely place in this world to occupy and talk about upon a daily basis. Our information's predetermined by some biased business. We all in sermon to Silicon that push out lovely neighbors. I'm done with paper chasing, think I'm on to bigger banquets. This that full circle, new wave, energy on a Tuesday. Turn a blue day to a bright hue, yellow with a smooth A in hair. Extra fruit, the brand, you can't move me. The music is man, it's a con job, but this grand. Been blessed with a great hand amongst many that stank. And yeah, it took some hard work, but blind luck play a huge role. And if they say that it don't, when they feeding you fool's gold. And if I know one thing, the truth's home. Even if it's a tough thing to swallow, an even harder thing to hold and truly know without a doubt while on the globe. Even though that seems inherent, it ain't always so apparent. Dangle carrot, you ain't always gonna get it, but don't worry. Be wary, in a year with more to carry and more days is yet to come. Under the sun, taking the ferry to the city where the moment's extra pretty, like the people, like the idea that I keep inside my brain that isn't equal to the real world. All that stress ain't saving me fear though. I swear to God I'm trying. They pushing their demons down my esophagus, screaming the easy life, what I want always. Praise made up holidays, tell me that love is the answer just to boost this economy. Buy more, sell now, but I ain't following. I ain't a hollow man, I'm fuller than fall winds. Take it all with a tall grin, and if you feel it, do it with me. And just sing what the song says. Take it all for what it is. It ain't all so big. So big, so big, so big. Take it all for what it is. What it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It ain't all so big. It ain't all so big.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, y'all. It's me, SB.
Dearly beloved.
How y'all doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing wonderful. Y'all know what tonight is. It's Monday night, and it's time for the dynamic duo. Y'all know what y'all here for. Yeah, I know. And here he is, Black Man Unfiltered. Hello, sir. How are you?
You know, I'm sunshine, partly cloudy. Security boss, how are you doing today on this lovely, beautiful Monday?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. I had a good day full of a whole lot of stuff. Exercised for hours, got tired, went to the chiropractor, got it all popped out. Now I'm here with you all trying to have a good evening. What about you? You worked all day.
You know, yeah, I was at work all day. Security boss, it was a long Monday. And it was a long Monday. But other than that, I've just been seeing a few things, security boss. I've been having some pretty good shows lately.
Yes, you have.
Thank you, and Mr. Boss, for the support for sponsoring the show that night. I really appreciate that. I meant to tell you guys that last week.
You know you ain't got to say
Dearly
that.
beloved.
Just you being here is enough. So look, we appreciate you. Why not support it? We got to tell actually what we need to do. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in what we're doing, we don't even mention this. But those that do support our shows, we need to tell them to share these videos with everybody that's in their text messages, their DMs, their YouTubes, their Instagrams, or wherever they are, so they can hear more about the dynamic duo, SBU Live, and Black Man Up BMU. They need to do that. You know, that is awesome if they can. It ain't all about the cash apps. It ain't all about the super chats or what have you. By the way, Christopher Lee, thank you so much for your $5 cash app. But it's not all about that, but we definitely appreciate you all. But listen, we would like it a whole lot more if you all can spread the word. This good message. Right. It's this heart-altering, a heart-changing message that we have over here on SBU Live and on Black Man Unfiltered. Black Man be going in, y'all. He going all the way. He be tackling stuff that I wouldn't do. You absolutely do. So listen, we got both ends of the spectrum. You'll go all the way to the transgenders, and I'm like, okay, no, that's not a safe place for me. I'm gonna stay right over here. But listen, it needs to be talked about because you got kids. I sent you a video today.
Oh, security boss, I saw it. It's bad.
It's real bad. So I hope you can use it, or if not, just
Oh,
something
absolutely.
that
You see it.
because it's in Texas, he said, but it
Yeah,
was
you see it
bad.
tomorrow. You
It's
see it
very
tomorrow.
bad. It's a bad one. So y'all got to look out for that. This is really getting to be, this is actually a war, but it's not against man and woman. This is something much bigger than that. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave that right there. But tonight, the topic is when men exercise options, what should women do? What you think about that topic, Black Man?
That's wonderful. Let's get it. I'm ready.
Before we get into it, though, listen, we got to say hello to a few people because there's a few people in here joining us right now. We got to say hello to them and make sure they understand and know that we love the fact that they're here supporting what we're doing. Black built like a
Absolutely.
conquering king. Hello, sir. How are you? Oh, this was earlier today. They shouldn't do anything other than accept reality. Oh, black built like a conquering king. Say it's just reality. Wow. Uh-oh. The real serious beat. She got something for him though. She says, black be like a conquering king. When one gets married, one gives up the options for the one. They choose. The reality is when you violate a contract, you pay a fee. Period. Uh-oh. Wait a minute, Mr.
Wow.
Boss. Paying a fee. What kind of fee you think it is we got to pay, Black Man? Oh, Lord. Lady Navoa, it's good to see you. How you doing? Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Mr. Gilbert, what's up with you? Christopher, hello, sir. How are you? It's good to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Did I miss somebody? I know I did. I saw a few people that I don't see right now. What's going on, Mr. Boss? All right, let's see. Trey, what's going on with you? I hope you're having a good day. Thank you so much for being here. It was a few other people. Listen, guys, as we go through these comments, Clement, what's going on? Clement says, SB, Mr. Boss, dearly beloved, and BMU and chat. What's up?
What's up with
you, Clement?
You got a $10 super chat already. Look at them. Come on in here.
You see it? Because I don't.
We got to talk about that too. You see it? We got to talk about that.
No, I don't see it yet. Hold on, Mr. Boss. Mr. Boss ain't cooperating with me today. Big Ant, what's going on with you? Hey, SB, how come you and Mr. Boss wasn't down in Alabama throwing punches? Well, wait a minute. What was happening in Alabama that I needed?
Oh, we're going to get to it. Come on. We're going to get to it in a minute. We're going to get to it in a minute.
Oh, thank you so much, Big Ed, for your $10 super chat. Did you see, though, that video? I don't know if I sent it to you, where the young lady says she's ready to fight the little welterweight, however you say it. The woman wants to fight him.
Oh, yeah. That's Clarissa Shields wants to fight Keith Thurman.
Yes. What is she thinking?
In a
what
professional
is wrong with her?
fight. She said she's going to knock him out.
She says she thinks she's a better boxer. She may be a better boxer, but his punches come with a lot more power. What is she thinking? What's she thinking, Black Man? You know what Mr. Boss said.
Yeah, I guess because I guess because no woman has ever beat everybody she get in the ring where she dominate them. So there's no more women to fight. So I guess she's trying to go up to fight a man. I don't know.
Mrs. She said, how you doing? Listen, she crazy. Jimmy Howard, Mr. Howard, what's going on with you? Look, Mr. Boss said, wow, he ought to just go in on her.
Man.
I said, no, he can't do that. Oh, no, I hope he don't
If
do
she
that.
If she get in there, absolutely. Absolutely. Tear her up.
Y'all, come on. Swell her face all up. Grooming and Reviews 101. Hello, sir. How are you? It's good to see you. Listen, y'all, that don't need to happen. Somebody need to remind her that she is still a woman, even though she be in there bouncing around, beating up on other women. That's her lane. We got to learn how to stay in our lane. Jeez. She can't. I hope that never happens. But anyway, I want to know what happened in Alabama. Black Man, do you know? Oh, Black Man ain't there at the moment. We're going to find out what went on in Alabama because I need to know why me and Mr. Boss need to be there. If I missed anyone in the comment section, guys, forgive me. But listen, thank you guys so much for being here. And as we go through the show, I think I saw Anissa too, and I didn't speak to her. Let me make sure. Did I did, Miss Anissa. What's going on? I thought I saw your name go by. Ladies, move on from this mess. What? Anissa, what you talking about? What's the mess? Your marriage? What? Anissa, not the marriage. You can't just, well, we ain't gonna talk about it yet. We're gonna let Black Man get back here and but anyway, I gotta tell y'all, while we waiting on Black Man, and again, if I missed anyone in the comment section, I will definitely give you a shout out. Try to give you a little wave throughout the show. But I gotta tell y'all something. Years and years ago, when me and Mr. Boss got married initially, right in the beginning, there were some things. There were deal breakers. We put out deal breakers 28 years ago, y'all. Of course, those are not deal breakers as of today, but one of our deal breakers was cheating. It really was. We said that as long as we together, him and I, could keep out third parties. And y'all, what we mean by third parties were men or women that would come against our union cheating. As long as we could do that, we could fight for each other and make sure we could fight for our marriage. But we felt even back then, once you bring in third parties and extra stuff like this, it ruins a marriage. Now, I got to tell y'all, 28 years later, if for some crazy reason Mr. Boss felt like he needed to cheat, I don't hate to say it, but yeah, I would not divorce my husband. I would figure out, or we would figure out. And as long as he was willing to be in the marriage and figure out what is going on with him or what is going on with us, I would actually walk this marriage out with him to find out where we fell off. Because obviously we fell off. Hey, Gretchen, how are you? It's good to see you. But anyway, him ringing the doorbell, he's something else.
I love it.
That's my man. But anyway, Black Man.
Dearly beloved.
Security boss, we gotta talk.
What happened in Alabama?
Okay, let me start from the beginning.
Yes, sir.
There was a man standing, they did like the rides on the boat, like the casino boats, but like they just take people up river and bring them back, like a tourist thing.
Yes.
There was a black security guard. Some white people came in a nice boat and parked where the boat is supposed to dock. So the black security guard went over to these white people, a boat full of white folks, and said, hey, y'all need to move your boat now because the boat is about to dock to let the people off. The white people refused to move. So the black man they walked off from him. He said, excuse me, guys, y'all come on. You got to move the boat. You see it's backing in. Y'all got to move. It's going to hit your boat. The white man decided he wanted to punch the black man in the face.
Oh, wow. Just like that. He just
lammed him. So the black man took his hat off, threw his hat off, and tried to defend himself. You could tell that he held back a little bit. He tried to defend himself. And then, they got into a little tussle. And then here come the next white boy and the next white boy, then the wife, then the daughter, then the nephew. And they all jumped him, stomping this black man out, beating this black security guard. Security boss, I don't know if people were, because Alabama was one of the worst slave places ever. I don't know if they got triggered, but security boss, when I tell you them black people came off that boat and beat them white folks like security boss, it was bad.
So even it looked like they was like living slavery all over again. And it was free.
The black people got off the boat, but before that, the people that actually worked there that are probably friends with the black guy, the younger boys, they shirts off, they running down the dock. They got on the boat, whooped everybody on that boat. Whooped the women, whooped the children, whooped the
women and the children too.
Whooped the uncle, then the women came, and the women grabbed the white women, snatching their hair, throwing them in the water.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait 1 minute, Black Man. I got to figure out one thing. Big Ann, why would you want me to be there? Why would you want me and Mr. Boss to be all in the middle of that? We don't fight. That's a good thing, though. This was a good old fight, right? Nobody pulled a weapon.
Nobody pulled a weapon. And I mean, them black folks whooping on white folks like they stole Jesus' supper. And let me tell you what else happened.
Oh, yeah.
So they got to the boat and they was running toward the boat. So now it had triggered other white people. Now other white people want to jump in and just have their way with black folks. Security boss, worst mistake they ever made in their life. Them black people unloaded that boat and it was white bodies going everywhere. And one dude picked a chair up and just started hitting them in the head with it. Bam, bam, bam.
What is going on? Oh, they just had some pent up aggression.
Oh, and this one white lady was fighting, hitting this black guy in the back of the head. Black guy come up with a chair and bust her head with it. Bam, just knocked out.
Where is this at? Is it on the news?
It's everywhere. It went viral. It's everywhere. I'm gonna send it to Mr. Boss.
That tells you what me and Mr. Boss be doing, y'all. I haven't seen this video. I have
Security
not.
Boss. One of the dudes couldn't even wait to the boat dock. He jumped in the water and swam over to whoop him.
So tell me something. Okay, did anybody get arrested?
Oh yeah, they arrested a whole bunch of
Black and white, right?
yeah, black and white. They tore that dock up.
Oh my God. I gotta see this. What is going? Okay, so listen. If the Caucasians, the white folks, their boat was in the way, and we got
Yes.
this other boat, riverboat, coming in trying to dock. Where did it actually go at this point? Was they like pinning them in, or where did they go?
They didn't go anywhere. They refused to move, and that's what started the chaos.
No,
between...
I understand that, but how did the people start jumping off the boat? Or the people on the boat was the one doing the fight, or other people?
They saw the black man getting jumped, and security balls.
Jumping ship.
People start jumping ship. And when I tell you them black boys, oh, I just, that white man saw them boys coming. He said, "Oh Lord!" At that moment, he knew. They beat them up.
I gotta look for that.
Security, but they beat them boys so bad. They beat them, and then the other white folks wanted to get into the brawl, and they beat them too. I mean, they was throwing the white women in the water head first, just throwing them in the river.
Oh my!
Beating them and throwing them in the river. Beating them and throwing them in the river.
What's going on? Ghost 1521. What's going on with you? It's good to see you guys. Listen, y'all, we talking about the brawl in Montgomery, Alabama. I knew nothing about it. Bleak Barbie, how are you? I didn't know nothing about it. Zaria, how are you? It's good to see you. Listen, so how about this? Some people were arrested, but nobody was hurt.
No.
Perfect. A good old fight. I don't mind that.
No guns was pulled, no shots, nobody shot nobody. It was just a good old fashioned brawl.
Albie, what's up with you? It's good to see you. Listen, Zara, I think I call you Zaria. Forgive me. But listen, I like that because sometimes you need to fight. And I'm so glad nobody was actually hurt or deleted in any way. And it sounds like that both groups just needed to get some things off their chest. I can't wait to see those.
Yeah, I think what triggered everybody is that this man was an older man.
Oh, women. Trey said there were injuries. One white boy did an interview today, and his face was. I ain't talking about that. That's what. Look, those are just war wounds. Right. That's okay. Right. I'm talking about deletions. Y'all know what I'm saying. Harrison family, how are you? Lou, what's up? It's good to see you guys. I'm talking about that. You know, I'm talking about Trey.
Yeah. I think it was an older man. And it was I noticed these young white boys are not beating up on this older man, and it triggered them. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. Look,
you get what you get. You get what you get. But anyway, Black man, you just mentioned that you've been seeing some stuff, and what else besides the Alabama, which I have seen or heard nothing of. I'm gonna have to get into that to see what's going on. But what else you got? You got anything else? Everything else been okay? Or you been in these YouTube spaces?
Hey, Miss she said you crazy. I love you. That's my family right there. So let me tell you what else happened. Wayne Brady.
She said got her crying.
She said she cried.
Yeah, Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady came out and said he's pansexual today.
What?
Yeah, pansexual means he don't see sex. So that means he don't see male or female. That means he's attracted to everybody. He'll date anybody. He'll have sex with anybody.
And anything too?
Anything. Hell, he might have a German Shepherd tweeted up. We don't know.
I think that's what that means, ain't it? Does pansexual, does that mean is that exclusively for humans, or could that go other way?
He said he don't see sex. So that means he's attracted to women and men sexually.
Okay, why he had to tell people that? Wait a minute. Why could? Okay, so wait a minute. What makes that pan and not bi?
Because he don't see people as sex. Like he don't see a sex. He don't see male or female. He just see human beings. Is what he's saying.
But when it comes time to have sex, he'll see the difference.
Oh yes.
That's what I'm saying. So why is that just not bi?
Pansexuality is sexual, romantic, or emotional attraction towards people of all genders, or regardless of their sex and gender identity.
Oh, so he like saying, you know what? I could have me a transgender woman and be good with that too. Yeah. But that's still the same thing. That's
it goes on to say pansexual people might refer to themselves as gender blind, asserting that gender and sex are not determining factors in their romantic or sexual attraction to others.
Okay, so this is totally surrendered. This is totally about surrounded with sex, though. I'm trying to figure out how we get from the attraction to sex. So don't that mean that he's saying that he's attracted to men and women, which would make him a bi, right? And he would have sex with both of them. But now I think when you say pan, he's included the transgender women and men. Either way, it don't even matter. Just bring them all.
Security ball. Let me tell you what's so dumb, right? And I don't care who don't like it.
Wait a minute. Listen, Trey call him pansexual, aka blind gay man. Oh,
yeah. Blind gay man, just give me peanuts.
Give me what you want.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
I'll be there.
It says here pansexuality and bisexuality are similar. This is how delusional people are. Pansexuality and bisexuality are similar, but not quite the same. Pansexuality is broader than bisexual. Now watch this, than bisexuality. And people who identify as pansexual may be attracted to people of all genders. Bisexual is the attraction to 2 or more genders. There's only 2. There's only 2.
No, it's more than 2 when they start. See, look, you're not thinking out of the box. You forgot about them and they.
Them, they, neek,
and us.
I don't understand.
You forgot about them and they. You cannot exclude them and they. You have to include them and they. When you include them and they, it means a whole lot more. Oh, hey, Patricia. Hey, Miss Patty, how you doing? Does he think this is something new? Look, it's new to me. It's new to me. Listen, I would just say he's bisexual, but hey, if he wants to say he's pansexual, I don't even know why he needed to announce it. I don't think anybody's going to be over to knock on your door and be like, what's up, Wayne? Who you with tonight? Who cares? Do you care, black man? Tell the truth.
I don't care because let me tell you why.
You look concerned. I see that concerned look on your face.
It's delusional that you have male and female, and then we make up 33. I heard today, because I'm doing a show tomorrow called The Agenda. And I was studying what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. And they said it's up to 33 genders. Now, I don't know how you can break down male and female 33 ways. I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't know how that's possible, security boss. How
you leaving out the pronouns? You got to add the pronouns when you start adding the pronouns, and then you there are some that are sincerely born with 2 things or both things, I should say, and then you add the pronouns to that. Then
Yeah, because now not legally yet. Because remember back in the 60s, homosexuality was considered a mental illness.
Absolutely.
Now you have to also, and people said it would never. The world would never accept it. Now, fast forward 50 years. And
how many years? Not 50. It hasn't been that long that it was considered a mental illness. Not 50 years ago.
It's been 50, right?
It's been 50. What?
Somebody in the chat do the math. 1960.
60 what? If that's the case, it was more than that was 70 something. So
okay, there we go. So if we're looking at the math now, and people accept it now. It's everybody got to accept it. You can lose everything if you don't accept it. Now they've come up with the term of, they said, don't call people who like children that word no more. Don't call them that P word no more. Now they got a new thing for them called MAPS. MAPS stands for minor attracted people. So people who are attracted to children, and they're going to add that to the community as well.
Okay, so listen. Okay, y'all hear what yeah. So are they going to, okay, I'm got to move on. I'm getting sick. I feel like I'm about to throw up in my mouth.
I'm trying to tell you.
Do you know what you're saying? So what they're going to make? So what they're saying is those maps are now is a mental illness. Is it going back to being a mental illness now, or is it what is it supposed to be now that it's maps?
You love who you love.
And are you saying that there's no violation of the acts that these maps cause to put them in prison?
Security balls. It's so deep because think about it. They're allowing. I just had a doctor on my show last week. We played a video of a doctor, a pediatrician who works with children every day, and she said a child at 2 months old can tell what kind of sex they want to be, and they give them hormone blockers to block them from being naturally boys or girls. So if they're doing that to little babies and infants, and people are accepting and parents are allowing it, then just imagine, right? What they're going to do when the little girl say, "Dad, Mama, I really like him. I want to marry him at 8 years old."
Listen. A 2-month-old can't even sit up. I don't even know. Are 2-month-olds even making eye contact?
This doctor looked in the camera, security box, and said, "We have children at the age of 2, and we give them blockers before their penis get an erection and before women get breast. We block that from happening if they want to be the opposite sex."
The only way a mother and father would agree to this is that they were mentally ill also. Yeah, we got to do some checking. We got to do some check. But man, I don't want to talk about that no more because y'all got kids that got to go to school, and in schools they're trying to indoctrinate the kids. They're trying to just wipe the children. If they got your kids, they got all of the
future
world. The United States is just gone, and you all know how that looks. So this is so sad. This is so sad. But you know, I'm not going to even say it because I said I was done with that because it's very gross. And to think of it is absolutely something I don't want to think about. Protect your children, even if you got to keep them at home and teach them. Y'all get these community schools going or something. Do not allow your kids to go to public schools where they could possibly be indoctrinated into something like this, because how's a 2-month-old gonna say what they want to be and they can't say nothing? They can't even sit up. 2-month-olds can't sit up. They can't walk. They can't do. They're urinating and duking in diapers. Hey, chaotic, what is going on?
And you know what? I had Courtney Michelle on my show. You saw her. Did you hear what she said about her daughter's school? She said her school, every month they have
the gay pride.
Where they have somebody from the community come read to them, talk to them about it, stuff like that.
Keep your kids at home, close to you at least. But you know what? I don't want to talk about that no more. I'm serious. It's just too much. It's too much. We are under attack, very much so. And it's just not the black man. It's all of us. It's all of us. We are under attack. Any of those anyway, let me keep going. But I got to tell you something. And I thought I sent you this video, but I didn't. I saw a video of Megan Good's ex-husband, Pastor. I don't know his name right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? He is pandering to women. I think he's trying to get her back because he did a video where he's up in somebody's pulpit on somebody's stage and he preaching. And he's telling the women that Adam was broke. They the only ones that came out whole. Women. He said he tired of this society and women telling
he better not start this mess.
He already did. Listen, he said that Adam was the one that was broken and was pointing at his rib like he don't know the story. He's a pastor. That's what he called himself. But he said pointing at his rib. Adam was the one broken. You women the one that came out whole. I dare they tell y'all can't lead and be whatever you want to be. We're in a society right now where they're cutting down women. They're not doing this for women. I dare they do that because y'all the one that's whole. The man the one got to get it together. That's what he said. And the people in the comment section was going crazy. They was like, what are you talking about? That ain't the story. And he just pointing at his rib like the fact that women were created. What is... Man, he made me so mad. I was like, what are you doing? This is not helping anybody.
He's adding to the problem. I think he's going through a midlife crisis because as a pastor, he's supposed to know better. Now, I'm not a pastor. I could have been one a long time ago. That's another story. I'm not a pastor. However, I do know the Bible says that the word is the same today, yesterday, and forever. And if the word is still the same, ain't no way we're going to manipulate it today to pander to no women.
Yes, he did. He said the fact that God took the rib of the man and
call him out.
Created woman. The man was now broken. What is his? What does? Oh my God!
And if I was the other pastor,
away, like God ain't real enough to heal. What is his? Oh, that's what he said.
If I'm the pastor, I'll say, give me the microphone.
No,
ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't Adam who was broken. It was Adam who was put to sleep to make something to help him build. And so women, you are created to be a helpmate. The word says that you are created to help your man build. The word says that what we're dealing with is a man who is broken. And so he's dealing with his brokenness and he's pandering to you guys through his brokenness. We're going to sit him down for a while until he can heal.
I believe. Listen, Miss Patty say he on the DL anyway.
Oh my God.
I don't know, but hey, you coming with that information.
I mean, his wife was eating booty online on TV.
What?
You remember that scene? Remember the show?
No, I never could get into that. I can't do that. I can't do it. I can't do that stuff.
Yeah, she's real close to that booty hole. But yeah, it's just crazy.
Listen, I visited Aaron O's show on Saturday. I did a show Saturday morning because, we're trying to do some things. So anyway, I did a show on Saturday morning. So I visited Aaron O's show, and the trolls came for me left and right. But you know what? Mr. Boss had them in the comment section, and I had them on the platform. I was like, you know what? I'm about tired of y'all.
Tag team, baby.
I know. They don't know. They don't know what it's about. I told them, I was like, listen, go get Cynthia G, go get Queen Maker, whoever. Let's line it up. Let's line it up year per year. And I bet you I got the results, and they don't. And y'all still following them. It makes no sense to me. And I have challenged any one of them. Otherwise, y'all need to leave me alone. Oh, they was just going off. You should have seen your girl. We ain't gonna even call her name because I'm gonna let her go. But she was just saying all type of stuff, got real graphic and nasty. Mr. Boss told me that because, I ain't the comment section reader. He told me that she was just saying all type of stuff in the comment section, and a whole lot of, even the PhD girl. And I just laughed at her. I was like, what? For real? And I just let them have it. But they was coming for me. One little girl said, told Aaron, I'll come up if SB ain't there. I was like, what? What did I do? I ain't said nothing to you. What you talking about?
Yeah, you know what? You dealing with that. You saw me on Trigger Mike's show dealing with that. Jesus Christ.
All the time. But listen, I usually don't deal with, what I normally do. I just smile and keep it moving. And then little fantasy girl, she wanted to come and state some type of case for the lesbian. And she wanted everybody to know about her being bisexual and looking for the box to eat and stuff like that. Like, I care. I don't care about the box. The box ain't what I want.
Well, yeah. The other night, security boss on barbershop, we got real rough. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. Ricky, I've never seen Ricky like that.
You haven't? Oh, come on.
No. I'm talking about Rick. I mean, to the point where Ricky said, I will pull up on you.
Oh, no. Ricky done pulled up before. Well, he ain't pulled up, but I done seen Ricky in the pull up mode before. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that was my first time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Ricky done pulled up mode before.
I hope my little brother Easy come through tonight. But Easy was saying, we was talking about girls trips. Our girl trips, the name of the show Friday, our girls trips, what was it? Oh, our girls trips for hoes in remission.
Remission?
Oh, yeah. And so Easy came up and he said, I don't have a problem with girls trips. I'm all for it. And I'm asking why. He said, yeah, well, I'm going to tell you why. Because, I go out and act ratchet with my friends. My wife should be able to go out and act, do the same. And one of the older gentlemen on the panel, Ruthless Truth, said, see, that's the problem. You and her are not the same. You're trying to make her you. You're trying to, and when I tell you, when then Tyrus, it got real, boy, I let them men hash that thing out Friday night. But man,
either he trying to make her him or justify his own actions. So you feel good about your own ish when somebody else is doing the same thing you doing. Y'all get together and it is okay. When nobody's holding either party accountable and nobody's giving a good message, nobody's being morally correct, nobody cares. We just doing what we do. It's okay. That's how we see it. JG, what's up with you? That's how we see it. But they know he know what's up. I don't know if Easy be just pulling our leg or is he sincere? I'm not really sure because sometimes he be like way off. Way off.
And then we got to talking about, the children being able to make their own decisions now, right?
Huh?
And the states and the government is saying that the children are going to have to start making their own decisions. And if their parents don't allow the children to make their own decisions about their bodies, about surgeries, anything like that, it will be considered child abuse and they come to your house. Now, we had someone on the show who was on this, Dr. Nkumbe, because he deals with this all the time. He said that's what's happening right now, especially in where he is in Minnesota. If a child says, I want to have a sex change or I want to dress like a girl, and you prevent that is child abuse. And they will be at your house to remove the children from your house immediately. You have in 24 hours, he said in 24 hours, your children will be removed from the home if you don't allow them to be who they want to be.
Miss Nat, how are you? Listen, it's nothing we can do. A lot of relationships accept that type of behavior. Yeah, they do. But listen, black man, can you hear me okay? Because I feel like I'm.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely fine.
Is it my microphone or yours?
Testing 1 2. Put
It's
one in the
you.
mic if you can't hear me.
No, you sound funny. Maybe it's mine. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. I'm still
Okay.
sounding funny. Do I
Mine
sound funny in the
was, but I'm
audience,
good
ladies and
now.
gentlemen?
There we go. We're back.
Okay.
But anyway, listen. I don't know what is going on with him, and it sounds crazy. Nightish, what's going on with you? But
He just came in.
whatever.
Easy money. What's going on, boy?
You see, easy. We're talking about you. Did we talk you up? I don't even see him yet.
We talking about
Anyway.
your barbershop appearance, about these girls trips.
I think my headset just went out. My earpiece, maybe. But you can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, so I'm gonna keep going. Guess what though? That's gonna bring us where we are today. With being exercise options, what should women do? So, okay. I think you sent me this video, but I had seen this video already, and you know what?
This what we at today, security boss.
We beyond this. We are beyond this.
Because we've been security boss all week long. I've been trying to show you where we at. Did you see the lady that was twerking on the damn city pole, the city sign?
You know what? Let me tell you something. I don't know where Scam Likely is. I guess he don't like us no more. But Scam, if you're listening, buddy, you were right. But I'm not giving up on my ladies. There are some women out there that do really want to be wives, and I'm gonna still continue to talk to these ladies and try my darnest to give them a good message on how a wife should be, how a wife should look. And you can make mistakes and all of that. You still have a duty to be a wife if that's what you want to do. But when I tell you the majority of the women that I am seeing have lost their mind, black men, they done lost their mind, because she was up on the pole. She pulled the thing up, and I thought I saw people trying to touchy and all that. What would make her get up on a street pole?
Want some attention?
Why? Why we need that type of attention or that much?
You seen the dude slapping her ass?
Look. It's too much. It's too much.
Now, what's the girl named Suki or whatever? Remember, she was the one in London talking about, I want a man to come and scratch this, scratch me out.
Suki Hana or something like that. Yeah.
I want to get scratched. Did you see what she did at her concert?
Heck no, you know good and darn well I ain't gonna be watching no concert.
Security balls.
I can't even look at her for a long period of time.
So I can't either. She look like an old rusty dog. But
you sent me the video, and then I had to ask you, what was that her? Was that her? You sent me the video, and we had to ask you what she was saying.
I'm trying to get my scratched tonight. I'm trying to get it scratched tonight, or whatever she said. And I said, so later on, she had a concert, security boss. She turned her naked ass around at this concert and let men and women lick her bottom part.
Did nobody do that? They did it. Okay, so I'm getting ready to go. Mr. Boss, you about done with that bunker? I'm going under. I'm not gonna be fooling with y'all. I'm not gonna let y'all get in my head. I'm not gonna let y'all corrupt my thoughts. I am just not gonna be dealing with all this worldly, trashy behavior that is going on in this world right now. But like, man, I'm gonna do like they be doing. I'm tired of y'all forcing it on me. I'm tired of y'all forcing that on me. I feel like you're forcing your worldly ways, your degenerate behavior, your whorishness, give me some more words, give me some more black men, all that stuff. I just feel like I'm being blasphemy, whatever. I feel like I'm being forced to not to be a part of it, but to see this on a daily basis, and I am tired of it.
I know that's right.
Because if y'all gonna sit around and talk about we force God and whatever we believe in righteousness and virtuous living on you, then you're forcing it on me. Your darn show is. And it's more of y'all than it is of us. Because guess what? Dre done already told us, but 25% getting in. So there you go. Now.
This the world we in, security boss.
I'm telling you, I'm tired of it. You listen, I bet you, did nobody put their mouth on that? No, they didn't. They did not. They did not.
I'm gonna send you the video.
And that's why the syphilis numbers are going up over in Texas. Y'all keep that over there. I am going in my bunker. We're going to make one. Me and Mr. Boss go create a bunker, and y'all going to have to find us somewhere. I'm tired of it. This is crazy. It's crazy. And you guys that are of high moral standards and y'all want good wives or something, I understand why y'all hide now. Please continue to hide. We're going to talk about it another day. Black men, don't get me on this, please. Can we just do the show? You keep taking me from one extreme to the other. You're talking about how our kids are in danger. That means this world is coming to an end quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to talk about how the ones out there now, oh God, they falling off a cliff. Do we got, all right, I'm just getting to this. Listen, let me talk about some good stuff. Well, this ain't good either. When men exercise options, what should women do? So I was telling my story, my good story. My good story.
Go
Before I
ahead.
do that, though, let's read this super chat. Then we're going to get into it, Black Man, because look,
Okay.
this is exhausting to me. Christopher Lee, thank you so much for your $2 super chat. Christopher says Sodom and Gomorrah is going to repeat itself. And what did God say? He's promised not to flood anymore, but what did he say is coming next? What did he say coming
Fire.
next? Ooh, fire in your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Coach.
It's coming.
Clifford Gray, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says, yeah, if Ricky was a front of Tyrus, it was in front of Tyrus, he would have what?
Errol
Emo?
Spencer on Tyrus.
Oh, Errol Spencer on Tyrus, but was a wild show. I thought he had problems with Easy. He had a problem with Tyrus too?
Mm-hmm. It was
Oh my
Tyrus
God.
mostly. It was 90% Tyrus.
Yeah, Tyrus
said
be out there a little bit too, don't he? Wild show, but watch the whole 7 hours. 7 hours, Black Man. You was on that 7 hours.
Man, it went 7.
Wow. Thank you, Clement, for your $5 super chat. I can't sit down for 7 hours and watch nothing. You're gonna have to clip that up, buddy.
Yep.
Give me
I was gone.
give me some fire. Alex, how are you? It's good to see you. But listen, Tyrus be out there a little bit too. But you know what? That's their lives. That's the way they see things. That's the way they live. That's their quote reality. So how about that? You know, some people want what they want. Like Anissa said, they don't want no better. They just live. I think Anissa said that this is how they live. Hey, what can you do about it? Why you laughing at it? Anyway, let's get to it. Let's get to it. We're gonna look at this video and then we're gonna jump right into it.
Because I love you. I never wanted to not be with you. I never wanted to be without you. I want to do life with you. But in the process of all this happening, you a liar. You got you a and I had to hear from this what y'all relationship was about. Nah, we not no more. I want to see other people. You act like you're the only fucker in this relationship that other people want to. No, no. Let's be real. So what we gonna do is we gonna stay together. We gonna have a beautiful life together for the rest of our lives. We gonna continue getting money together. We gonna continue raising this little girl together. We gonna have a fabulous home. We're gonna love and take care of each other. But I'm gonna other people, and I hope you do too.
Ooh.
Jesus Christ.
And we will never ever talk about it. Don't bring me no babies. Don't bring me no diseases. But we gonna do what we want to do outside this house because to this point it has worked.
It's exhausting, Black Man. It's exhausting. She just can't even, first of all, let me say this. Exercising options is a term that I think Kevin Samuels came up with, right? And he said this for high value men. So this high value men who have lots of money, supposed to be high value in character and all of that is what I thought it was about. It was more than high earning. But anyway, 6-figure earning young men, millionaires or whatever, supposedly have options when a woman with women, I should say that they may or may not be married. Probably most of them are, but they still have options. So because women just tend to throw themselves at men of power. So exercising options means that they can cheat. So a lot of times I have to play on words. They be like, hey, Black men don't cheat. We exercise options. So either way, it's cheating. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think about this young lady. I don't know if this was a real scenario or just a fake scenario. It sounded and felt so real because she was so into it. The first words that we did not hear was, she said, I appreciate the fact that you're going to fight for it. Because I think what he said, or somebody in the room said something about fighting for the marriage. And I'm assuming this is a marriage situation. It's not just boyfriend and girlfriend. So the man said, I'm going to fight for the marriage. And she then got very aggressive. Now I got to tell y'all something. This is the beginning of what some would call trauma. This woman is experiencing a very, very hurtful thing. She don't want to relax in that though. Right now, she's very, very angry and very, very aggressive, and she's not looking or sounding like a wife. Most of us would love for her just to cry and run away, but that is not today's woman. Today's woman is not crying and running away. Today's woman is one that is going to fight. So she has reduced this completely to sex. And her, in all her equality, has said, you think that you, the only one that somebody on the outside of this marriage wants to F? She got men too that want to F her too, as though that's going to make her situation better, as though it's going to make her feel better. Y'all, it won't. It won't. It's going to make her feel worse.
Well, I'm going to tell you what the truth is in a minute. Go ahead and finish.
So if I was asked the question, and I think in the comment somewhere we were asked, what would a woman, or what should she do? A woman that is married and is a wife, again, should go to her husband if she's found out, or if she finds out from a side chick that she has been going with her husband, or whatever the situation is. She needs to go to her husband and figure out what it is that he wants to do. If he wants to be married, if he wants to actually fight for his marriage, and figure out where did we fall off. I've been married a very long time. Me and Mr. Boss have not had this in our marriage, so I can't give y'all a true story, because if I did, I would. I don't have one. We set boundaries from the very beginning, and we always said that this would not be what we actually went through, because actually he had that problem in his first marriage.
Dearly beloved.
And he wasn't going to do those things again. This was not going to be how he was going to be married. He understood what was going on. But this woman is very hurt. And it's to say that she's going to share herself, her body, her mind, and her spirit with another man is very detrimental to a woman. But I got a feeling, y'all all remember Wendy Williams, right? I kind of got a feeling she took on this role and did the same thing and told her man something similar to this. And as long as he didn't bring home a baby or disease, she was good. But when he brought home that baby, the amount of humiliation that she felt, she just could not go on any longer. So Black man, what you think?
When I used to be an avid gamer, and I used to play games with my sons and play games with my brothers when they would come. And in a game, I used to play the ones that challenged my mind, challenged me mentally. And I used to go in there, I want to break the code. In this situation, this is a game for her. This woman, I guarantee, this woman had a very, very, very promiscuous past. To have a mouth like that and a mindset like that, she's probably been throwing that coochie from the free throw line for a very long time before she even got married. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. She been wanting to cheat, but now her husband has given her the reason to justify it. That's what happened. He gave her the reason because a hurt woman like that, mostly hurt women, when they're hurt from an infidelity, they're more emotional, they're more broken. They're not as aggressive as she is in this video. Oh, you done said that? Oh, we're going to raise this child and we're going to be together. We're going to live a fabulous life. Yep. We're going to still build together, but we're going to be having sex with other people. Yeah. She's excited that her husband gave her the thing that she needed to go be free and have sex with anybody she wants.
I disagree. That is not excitement. That is pure pain. But what she does have is some girlfriends that are single. This woman hasn't cut off her life and been all about her marriage. She got some girlfriends that are single, that are going on girls' trips, and she's probably they live in that modern marriage type life. They're not living that covenant marriage type life. They live in that other kind of marriage.
Yeah.
And see,
because I love you. I never wanted to not be with you. I never wanted to be without you. I want to do life. It's a fight for me. Great, because I love you. I never wanted to not be with you. I never wanted to be without you. I want to do life with you. But in the process of all this happening, you a liar. You got you a and I had to hear from this what y'all relationship was about. Nah, we not no more. I want to see other people. You act like you the only fucker in this relationship.
Nah, Black man, that ain't no covenant wife right there.
She said you the whole go back, Mr. Boss. Go back, because she said something. Come on.
No, we no. Let's be real.
Go back a little bit.
What y'all relationship was about. Nah, we not no more. Okay, I want to see other people. You act like you the only fucker in this relationship that other people want to.
See right there. She said you act like you're the only person in the relationship that people want to fuck. That she's telling him, men, I've been want to fuck other men. She's telling him.
Well, I think she's saying I got other options. She has options. I don't think she, listen, I'm telling you what she got. She's a modern day woman with girlfriends. Girlfriends will influence you, girl. Look, I don't care how good he is. If he do this, if he do that, see, the commitment level and the faithfulness is like negative zero. We ain't even got to 1. So there's not much of that going on. So everybody's looking for one or the other to do something so they can have an excuse for doing what they want to do. Now, mind you, do you really think she want to have sex? Because I don't think she does. I really don't think that she wants to go outside the marriage. I think this is all pain and this is all cover up. And I think you got to be a badass in order to cover up your pain. This is what I think. Anissa says she has options just like he does. Anissa.
No, she does not. No,
he don't.
She does not. Anissa, you too old for this. You know better. You know that this woman is past that wall. And any man that want to hit it, he gonna hit it. He gonna hit it and then quit.
Well, that's what she mean. That's what she mean by options, isn't it?
No,
she got other. What you mean, to marry her?
When you and Mr. Boss go to buy a car, y'all have options of every brand new car you want to buy, and all those cars that you want to buy has value. Is that correct? Because I know one thing. You went got you. What's the name of your new car you just went got?
GL 53 Mercedes. GL 53.
Okay. Now, when y'all went to the lot, y'all bought that car brand spanking new, right? No miles.
Correct.
I bet you one thing, Mr. Boss wouldn't have brought you back a car that had 150,000 miles on it. Why? Because that car don't have no value. It's the same situation here. She has options. Sure, you got options, but what are your options going to get you? You're already a mama, right? When you go out into the world, what if you go out and you say you want to be with this man, but you're going to have sex with other people? What happens when you get pregnant? What happens when you bring an STD to the house, right? What happens? You're not going to be cheating all month because you got to take a week off because your period on.
But this is fake, though. This is fake. She does have options, as in to sleep with other men. Men will sleep with this woman.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she has many options for someone else to marry her. But understand this, y'all. She's doing this to hurt this man. This is not real. This is pain. This is trauma. This is what these ladies be talking about when they say their men ain't ish and all those things that they say. This is how it begins. She is hurt by the fact that, and guess what else you need to understand? She hurt, but she ain't no fool, because this must be a high earner, and she ain't willing to walk away from the money because she said, we're gonna live in this house. I'm gonna give you the best home, but me and you, we ain't effing no more. So him and her are not gonna have sex, but he can go ahead and have sex with somebody else, and she can go ahead and have sex with somebody else, since you've been functioning outside of the marriage so well. You know, we've been doing really good. So she ain't no fool completely. She like, I'm not giving up my life. Don't even think I'm letting you off the hook like that. But you go ahead and have this sex with that other woman, and I'm gonna have sex with whoever wants to have sex with me, because you seem to think that no man wants me just because who you are. And I'm telling her, I wish I could tell her, dear, yes, men will screw you. They will. But you were the one that will end up with the trauma and the babies. So be careful. And the disease, because syphilis numbers are going up.
Ooh, especially in Houston. Well, you can't go to Houston and buy a taco without getting syphilis. This is bad over there.
Black man, this is coming. I listen, I hate to say this, but this is coming from an influence in my point of view. This is coming from what's going on? This is coming from an influence from girlfriends. I hear the girlfriend chant behind me. Girl, you better get yours. He fine. He this, he that. Get yours, girl. Trip. I just hear that. And then the girl behind her like, ooh, what?
Yeah, wait a minute. Girl, you talking? You better talk your talk.
Yes, encouraging that on. Now, this is a very private situation, so I'm assuming this may not be a real scenario. But for her to be that aggressive and that, it's almost like she was feeling it.
Yeah.
If you do this to me, I'm going to do this. This is not real. Men, I need y'all to understand. Black men in the comment section, y'all, this is not real. Women typically do not feel this way. Women are hurt. If they're in love with a man, they've had a child with a man, they've married a man, they think those men are typically great. We think that you all are great. When you all, what you want to call it, black men, when you all cheat on us or whatever you do, any kind of way that you hurt our hearts, it is painful. And what she's trying to do is cover all those emotions up and let you know that she is an independent woman and she don't need you. But the reality of it is she does.
Right. And I just said, Mr. Boss, check your IG, because these modern day breakups, you have sex with, you want to have sex with, I mean, you gonna go and do, but like you just said, who's going to suffer the most?
It's
Who's
not
going to suffer the
real, black
most?
man. It's not real. This is what I'm saying. This is see, she don't want that. You know, we are emotional all the time, but when her real emotions, true vulnerability should have came out, it didn't. Because what the very first words was, the man said he was gonna fight for it, and she said, "Fight for it. I wish you do because I love you." She loved this man. See, I don't think men understand how much that women do love and want to be with them, and how much they want. I just don't think y'all understand the connection that you make when you sleep with women and you marry them. And I think she thought she was in a very good place, and for whatever reason, the side chick calls her. How about that? Calls her and tells her what her man been doing. Oh, that's devastating. And instead of her being devastated, she can't go out like that. In other words, she can't go out like no punk.
Right.
I ain't getting ready to be no punk. I'm finna show you what I'm getting ready to do. I'm gonna get me some men to screw me. How about that? Well, Anissa said, SB, we do, but we not dealing with this BS. Listen, Anissa, what you mean you're not dealing? Okay, so listen, Anissa, I'm glad you said that. Black man, we need to Mr. Boss, I'm gonna have to ask you to drop the link, because what are you? Listen, the man has already cheated. You are dealing with it, whether you want to or not. If you don't want to be with him, I have told women over and over and over again, you have the most power in your femininity. If you can be quiet and exit room left, you would make a bigger, you would send a bigger message than anything, because that man would be sitting there wondering, did she care? What's going on?
But you know what, though, security boss? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because, like, Easy Money's here and he's got the cape on again tonight. He just said this situation is the man's fault. He should have just been faithful. Yes, he should have. But if you go to couples therapy or marriage therapy and you sit down with the therapist is going to tell you these words. Both of your asses played a part in him cheating.
Absolutely.
That's what's going to happen, because what's happening is a lot of men are married and walking around with dry penises, and these wives are using sex as a weapon. And what man walking around that has a wife? No man should be walking around full of sperm when he's married. He shouldn't be walking around saying, I got to get some lotion. I got to go in the bathroom late at night. I got to go get me one off in the shower. No, a man has a wife for a reason, and she's there to accommodate him sexually, physically, mentally, spiritually. And a lot of women don't meet that criteria after they get married. They want their family to see them in a nice white dress. But after that's over, they feel no obligation to do those things anymore. And then they play victim when the man go out and get something that you should be giving them at home. This is simple.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I agree with what you're saying. Both parties are involved, but it's a whole, it takes a lot, in my opinion. Y'all could tell me wrong. It takes a lot to cheat. In my opinion, it takes a lot, because
not for no man.
That's what you say, because I think you got to get in that car. You got to crank it up. You got to drive to wherever she at. You got to either go to her apartment, and you got to set it up with a phone call. There's a whole lot of steps that was involved where you could have stopped yourself and went and talked to your wife, because your wife is what comes first. See, I have said this and I'm sticking to it. Reasons why marriages break up is due to selfishness. I understand that woman that you're speaking of was wrong. If she's withholding sex from her husband, she is wrong. But there needs to be a conversation to what is going on. We need to care just that much about our marriage and our covenants that we go say what is wrong, because your wife is not your enemy. Ladies, your husband is not your enemy. Y'all supposed to love each other. Y'all supposed to be one with each other. There is no time, black man, that I should want and desire to hurt Mr. Boss. Never. Never. And there should never be a time where Mr. Boss could want and think that he could possibly hurt me and be willing to do so. It should never, ever,
now, hold on.
ever.
Now, security boss, I'm going to tell you this.
Never, ever.
It's a difference when you can shop at Neiman Marcus and you can shop at Walmart. See, you're the type of woman, you're Neiman Marcus. A lot of these dudes out here dealing with Walmart. You see what I'm saying? And you would not have a desire to hurt your husband. You would not have a desire. But there are some very, very, very vindictive women who are waiting for a reason or an opportunity to cheat. And you know what? Security boss, I'm going to be transparent here. My brother had an accident where he put his hands on a female. And the reason for that is because she cheated on him. She cheated on him. And when she cheated on him, guess what happened? My brother turned into a whole nother person and things went left and he put hands on her. But she told him, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. She wasn't working. I don't understand how she had a opinion. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the way you do this. And my brother said, but I didn't cheat on you. I didn't cheat on you. If you had that, you could have came talk to me. She used my brother's, the things that she didn't like about my brother, the things that my brother didn't do well in her eyes. She used it as an excuse to go and have sex with somebody else.
Well, that's just what you did too. You just did the same thing, black man. When you said that a man is going out and he's full and the woman ain't giving him sex, you just did the same thing. We don't need to do that. Now, I don't know your brother's situation. It sounds like he was married to an evil woman. I don't know where it went left or what have you. But I'm saying to you, foundationally, principally, we cannot allow this to creep into marriages. And I'm not saying a man is perfect. Understand this. I'm not saying a woman is perfect. I do know things happen and we do fall off. So everybody understand this. I do realize a woman can cheat or a man can cheat because we can be in situations going to work where people that, we talking to every day and stuff like that. And conversations be good and you just smell them right or something. And all of a sudden you're there. I get it. But even that takes steps. But listen, we got to start being honest in our marriage and be like, babe, I'm weak. I'm smelling this man and I don't want to do this. Or I'm having conversations and my mind is running. I need you to do something. Do I need to get another job? Or whatever you want me to do, I'll do. I do not want to compromise what me and you have. This is how raw our relationships with our mates need to be. We don't need to be dealing with it after the fact that we done cheated and then broke each other's heart, because it's a devastating thing. Just like your brother brought something else upon himself that he could have really got in trouble with, and it could have been a bad situation. Like, why is you raising your hand?
Security boss.
What?
You know what? There again, I'm going back to the Neiman Marcus Walmart thing. It's two other men on this panel right now.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. How many women would actually go to their man and have that conversation?
0.
No. Wait. What conversation? Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's make sure we all talk about this.
Another man. What do you want me to do? I'll do anything you want me to do. You want me to quit my job? What do you want me to do? Dr.
I agree with you, black man. I know, but it ain't many men going to their wife either saying, I'm low, I'm fuel, help me. I'm thinking about cheating. And I don't know not one man that ever went to his wife and said, I'm thinking about cheating, babe. Help me.
Men will go to their wives and be like, you ain't, they'll be upset and pissed. They'll be like, you ain't giving me none.
No, that's not it.
Why you ain't doing? They're gonna tell.
I'm not talking about in a fit of rage or at the end of a fight. I'm talking about where it makes a difference and I can hear you. I don't know man.
I got 2 friends that did it.
They went to their wife, calm conversation. They went to their wife and was like, I'm thinking about cheating. And what did the wife do? Trey, how you doing? First of all, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Dr. Smith, how you doing?
The first one, he suggested therapy. They hadn't had sex in over a year. And he was at his wit's end. He couldn't take it anymore. And he said, hey, maybe we should go to therapy. We need to talk because we need to get this figured out. And about 5 years later, another friend of mine who was in the military, they had gone about 3 or 4 months, and he went to her and went and talked to her. So I know some men that went calmly and had this conversation. And it didn't turn out well for either one of them. They both.
Okay, so let me ask you though, Trey, not telling their business. I don't want to get like that. But when they went to the women and they said, hey, Tisha, what she says, I'm with USB. I know, because we the type of women that the Neiman Marcus people. Like Black Man said.
It's
but
more
listen,
Walmart than Neiman, I'm telling you.
Listen, Trey. So when the husbands go to the women and say, listen, I am feeling this way. I don't know why we're not having sex. Can you talk to me and let me know what was the response? Did they talk to you about what kind of response they got from the ladies?
They didn't go into detail about the response that they had. I do know that the first couple, like I said, they went to therapy. I do know that much. They went to counseling. And I think it worked for a little while, and then it just sort of fizzled off, and they kind of went back to their old ways, and, we're not being intimate with each other. But the second couple, I know for a fact, they just went ahead and just got a divorce. It just never worked itself out at all. And I gotta be honest with you, I think he wound up cheating.
Okay, so listen, I do know that there are issues in marriages, y'all. But I just think that in a marriage that you want to work, we got to be transparent with each other. We have to have these conversations. What was that Angry Snowman said? Men ask for sex all the time. I'm not talking about
and be denied all the time.
Okay, so listen, angry Snowman. I said we have to. If a man asks for sex and he's denied, there is a reason. Like I said, coming in, there should never be a time that the woman or man that you marry should dislike you. If you don't like your spouse, we got to get to the bottom of why I don't like you. We can't just walk around the house as enemies. That is crazy talk. I need to find out what happened along the way, because when we was not married, or probably, or at the beginning of our marriage, we was, tossing each other up and all of that. So why now can we not be a happy, not necessarily happy, but why can't we be a couple that's still attracted to each other? What happened? It's something, because women like sex just as much as men do. It's obvious this woman done already threatened a man that she going to get hers. So why is it? Because guess what? She's not coming to you, I don't think. They coming to you saying, hey, I'm gonna go out here and get me another man, or is she out here cheating? No, she's suffering just like you're suffering. So why are we suffering? I'm not saying it's going on. I'm just saying it's something that has to happen.
Security
Yes,
boss.
sir. Yes, sir.
My wife can come in here today and piss me off.
Right.
And she can piss me off at 9 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
At 11:30, she can come in here and get this thing.
Right.
I'm not gonna be sitting up here talking about I'm angry. I don't like you. I'm not happy. We gonna get it in. So
okay, but let's work it the opposite way, because women work different than you. You realize that, right?
But you got to know your woman.
Woman's different. I don't care who she is. I'm just saying she works different than you. If she got mad at 6 in the morning and was still mad at 6 in the afternoon when you came home, and was still mad when you got ready to go to bed at 11 o'clock that night, there's a problem. Did you go back? Did you try to say, babe, it's time out for being mad? What's the issue?
No. I just will give her some head.
And she got all right?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
she
but the thing is,
she roll over in the morning. You hungry? You want something to eat? Okay,
exactly. But the thing is, she allowed you to do it, though. There are some people that are not allowing it to happen. I'm just trying to tell y'all. We got to figure it out. It can't always.
Know your wife. You got to know her. Go get that.
No, but that's the problem, Black man. I don't think all couples know each other that well, and we don't take the time to know each other. We just kind of be like, "Oh, you gonna act like that? I'm going to."
I got a question to the married folk. When is it communication and not begging?
Oh,
because some of it sounds like begging. Like if I'm married, I understand that we need to have a conversation. We haven't been intimate in a while, but where's the line between I'm talking to you about it, and now I need it. I'm begging you for it now. Where's the line in between?
Okay, check this out, Trey. Like if your husband, if your husband is noticing that you're pushing him away, there's a reason for it. Like I said, if your relationship went from hugs and kisses, intimacy, to now I'm pushing you away, something happened within that woman. She doesn't want to do this. Something happened. I don't know what. That's when the communication should start. Now, if she gives you one of these, nothing, I'm good, get out of my face. She treating you like that, and you let that go on for a while, and then you go back and ask again. Now you're begging because you've already tried the communication line and you didn't get anything from her. So now you got to ask again. And she said nothing was wrong. Whereas there's nothing wrong, then why are we not getting together? We got to figure this out. So anything after that, now you're begging. But y'all got to understand this, men, folks, and I love y'all. There is something going on with that woman. It is. Women love sex too. They do. They really do. And they love it with their husbands. And that's how they would mostly want it to be. But I can't never tell you what's going on, what happened. Some of them are really, really sensitive. Like Black man said, you got to know your mate. It's true. But don't stop asking those questions. Ask those questions before you go out that door. You don't want to take that situation out the door because it only adds to the confusion of what's going on in the marriage. Now, listen, she was already pushing you away. Now you cheated on her. Now what? Now what? What's she supposed to do now? That's the question. What should a woman do now that you've exercised your option?
Well, I think that some men have been real mean to their wives. I've seen some men. It was none of my business. Like I want them to have that. It was none of my business to jump into that because I'm not going to do that. But I've heard a man tell his wife these words: "Baby, you look good tonight, baby. You gonna give me our kids? No, move. He said, if I don't get none tonight, I'm gonna fuck somebody in the morning. So he
Told
said,
you-
either you gonna
told his
do it or
wife
you
that?
not. Oh, he told her
Is
to her
that his
face.
wife?
I'm on the corner. I said, damn. Yeah, damn. He told her to her face, and she looked like, damn. He said, if you don't give me none tonight, tomorrow I'm going to find somebody that will.
Wow.
So,
See
I
what I'm
mean,
saying? How is that necessary? How is that a good thing? Because guess what? Even though he said that was that man's energy for whatever reason. That woman ain't good with that. She's not good with that because that shows up different in a marriage. I don't know what he's doing or what he's not doing, but it's definitely showing up different. Hey, JT, how you doing? Okay, so listen, I got me some ladies on the platform. So Shushu, you was here first, and Dr. Steele will go to you next. Shushu, what's going on with you? What you got to say about this?
Well, I'm doing well. Thank goodness. Had a pretty good day today. I can't be, mad about that. As far as like the topic itself, like I saw the video, and I think a lot of that she did say out of anger and frustration. Number one, it should never been put on social media. So, I don't know. It does make me question if it was like real or not.
Yeah.
But either way, like
they're coming for you.
That's not something that should be put on social media. It shouldn't. But number two, she did say some things out of anger and frustration. Whether she meant it or not, hey, I don't know. I do know this. Here's why I get you push back, black man. I love you. A woman always have options, always. And here's the thing too. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't cut off your attraction for other people. Now you may say, okay, I'm going to make this commitment to this one person. I'm going to be intimate with only this one person. And also that makes the violation even deeper, because it's like I had the option to go out and screw with people, but I didn't, because I was, true to my commitment, the commitment I made to you. But for you to, go out here and step out on me, that it does add insult to injury. So I think some of that too is why she was like, all right, this is how it's gonna be, because we ain't getting no divorce. Well, I'm not leaving. I'm just gonna let you know I'm gonna stay in this. But since you can't stay, true to being just faithful, being monogamous, okay, well, you go and screw you other people. But guess what? I'm gonna screw other people too. I'm gonna stop denying myself selfishness and pleasure. You know what I mean? Like, we still gonna be in this, but since that's how you made it, you opened up the floodgates. So guess what? This is how it's gonna be.
But how do you feel about that though? How do you feel about the fact that she suggested that as a wife?
Oh God, like I said, I think it was more out of anger than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be upset. But me personally, I calm down, and I would try and get to the bottom of like what was going on, why did it happen, and like why couldn't you come to me, and like what brought it to that point, and lay out some guidelines. So okay, this is what's gonna have to happen in order for us to get this back on track.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I just don't even know what that looks like, because you think about it. I mean, now you the trust issues and all of that, and then the side chick had the nerve to call. She called on the phone. That means she was out of control. She, we're living in a time now where these types of things are very much deadly, because the homegirl already called. Next thing she'll be doing is taking her out, because she thinks she can feel that spot. I mean, I don't know what, because she said the woman described their relationship to her. I mean, really? So that means they were getting very, very, what you call the word? They were being very negligent, Yeah. And see, that's more than sex. It was more than sex. What, black man, what you got? What?
We had this conversation before about the musician here at my church. Remember I told you, he's at the church no more. But him and his wife would go to the beauty salon and sit in the chair and tell those women, girl, my husband always want to hit it from the back, and he want to throw my legs behind my back. I be telling him, hell no. What's wrong with just getting on top of me and him just making passionate love? Why I gotta do all these different positions, and why I gotta give him head? He always want to put it in my mouth.
She told somebody that black man.
Guess what happened, guys? The woman, they got a divorce, and 6 months later, he was dating the damn hair salon, the hairstylist.
Oh,
They were
Lord.
together, and they got married, and they got a kid now. That's what I'm saying. Like, those women, they're evil like that. They'll be like, oh, yeah, she ain't giving him none. I'm perfect. I give her great. I'm going to give him all the cat he want in the position he wanted in. She didn't got to do it. I'll do it.
I mean, yeah, you do have women out there who are like that, but
vindictive.
But like for the video itself, when she was saying the side chick called her and started telling about the relationship, that means that they've been doing that for a while. Because usually by the time the side chick gets so emboldened to the point where she feels like, oh, well, he doesn't need his wife anymore. And you better believe the side chick has had a conversation with him about her being the wife now. Like, why don't you leave your wife? Why you still with her? Da, 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 da. Okay, well, she must not be handling her business at home. You over here with me. Like, you have now made this woman feel like she is so special, and she is, so much to the point where she is more valuable than your wife.
Yeah, he's making a classic mistake. You don't pillow talk with the side piece. That's not how that works. And when you start pillow talking with the side piece, she starts to get empowered. She feels as though now she's coming for the top spot, because that's ultimately what she wants in the first place. But when you pillow talking her, you giving her that power. That's where that's coming from. You don't pillow talk with the side piece.
And the side pieces are deserved to be in back seats, behind dumpsters, back row of the movie theater, bathroom of the restaurant, in Target bathroom, Walmart toy section, those areas. She does not deserve to be laid up with you, being treated like the Queen of England. And Trey is absolutely correct.
Let me go to Dr. Steele and see if he can shine some light into this situation. Dr. Steele.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I saw this video before, and it's a sad situation to me.
Very.
Yeah, it is. I never been married, but I could not imagine where you're being in a marriage, but you cannot be intimate with your spouse anymore. And it's just sort of sad. I mean, first, the man cheating on her. And I asked myself this question, well, why do men keep cheating? Knowing they're going to get caught later on. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you're going to get caught eventually. And you know what? Naturally, a woman would talk to the man and want a divorce. But not this lady. She just said, you can get intimate with everybody in the world, just like I can get intimate with anybody I want to be, just not with each other. And and to me, that's very sad. If I were in that guy's position, I would rather have her wanting a divorce than for her to tell me that I can't get intimate with her and I'm still tied to her. That's worse than a divorce to me.
Yeah. And not even that. What about the part about she going to get someone else, sleeping with someone else?
Oh, that makes it even worse.
That makes it real bad. Yeah. I don't believe, I'm sorry. I just think that she is upset. I think she's very hurt. And I don't think that women typically take this stance. I don't. I think this is an influence of girlfriends and I'm equal. You're not going to hurt me. This is just her being a badass right now. The reality of it is, if she wasn't already cheating, she had no intentions on cheating. Now she might go try something now to get, you know what they're saying now, right? To get her lick. She might go hit a lick, but that is just not, I know there are some women out there that would do this, but to go through all of this is what she's saying now. That wasn't her intentions, but she's not going to leave. She is not leaving. She said she's going to stay here and they're going to have a beautiful life. And he's a liar. He's a cheater. And life has been going just good the way that it was. So let's just keep it just like it is now. We both now have an understanding of what we're going to do. And
because I
Right,
love you.
right. Let me say this.
I never wanted to not be with you.
She
I
said
never
she
wanted
coming
to
out of
be
retirement.
without you. I want to do life with you. But in the process of all this happening, you a liar. You got you a and I had to hear from this what y'all relationship was about. Nah, we not no more. I want to see other people. You act like you're the only fucker in this relationship that other people want to. No, we no. Let's be real. So what we gonna do is we gonna stay together. We gonna have a beautiful life together for the rest of our lives. We gonna continue getting money together. We gonna continue raising this little girl together. We gonna have a fabulous home. We're gonna love and take care of each other. But I'm gonna other people, and I hope you do too.
ooh,
Jesus Christ.
And we will never ever talk about it. Don't bring me no babies. Don't bring me no diseases.
you see that? You see how tough that was? That wasn't even the language that she's using. Even because even they were surprised. They was like, what? You know, it was just so harsh coming from this woman. So I would think this is not her norm. This woman is very hurt, y'all. I'm not excusing her
I
behavior.
ain't giving it to her. I'm giving it to that demon up in her. I don't give a damn. That's a demon. For her to be talking like that, that's a demon.
Well,
It's like
you know
she
what?
already. It's like it was like her premarital. What do you call it? What you get when you prenup? They're her sexual prenup. Ooh, I hope that nigga cheat on me because I seen a couple of dudes. I'm ready to, you know, come on, man.
No, it's like
been
that.
like that for years, black man. It's probably been like that for years. She's probably suppressed that feeling for years. And now she has an excuse. I disagree with Shushu. Women don't have options. Women don't have options. Women have opportunities. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. You don't have options. Because,
what do you mean by that?
Because if you had options, that would infer that you are the same as men. Men have options, and we're not the same. So your only opportunity that you have is to be a 304. That's it. You can go out and go sleep around with a bunch of people, but that would make you a hoe.
Well,
so you don't have options.
Here's where I think each gender has our own set of delusions, and I think that's where men have their delusions. The idea that women can't go out and have like side dudes or side relationships and stuff like that. Listen to me. I mean, when men sit up here and complain about how unfair family court is and how that it should be a requirement to get a DNA test.
Absolutely.
Before you pay child support.
Absolutely.
Why would you need a DNA test if women weren't out there like men?
Oh no, we said it was
holy. Maury Povich has made an entire career off of women being promiscuous.
Being hoes.
So come on now.
Yeah, that's my point.
The bottom line is
they're
men have for centuries like it just completely like been in denial about women and their sexuality. I think this. Oh, and one other thing too, I wanted to say, because I forgot to say this earlier. Shout out Montgomery, Alabama, stand up. Shout out. I just want to
let me say this right here though, and Dr. Steele, don't forget your thought, and then I'm gonna come back to Anissa and JT. Okay, so Trey, dealing with you because I'm a little bit confused. Are we saying exercising options is not cheating? Is that what we're saying?
Well, personally, I don't think men can cheat anyway. I've never felt that way. Most men.
So tell me what.
Most men want variety.
Okay.
Most men want variety, and they suppress that feeling by getting married. They do that for her. It's not for him. It's for her, because most men want to sleep with more than one woman. If you put 2,000 men up here, I guarantee you, almost 90% of the men are going to say, if she was okay with it, I would sleep with other women. But most men won't do it because they know that the wife doesn't want them to do it, so they won't do it. Anytime I've been in a relationship and I didn't cheat, it's because I knew if I did it, it was going to hurt her. It doesn't mean I didn't want to sleep with other women. Of course I want to sleep with other women. This idea that the men and women both have options, no. Women have had opportunities from the moment that they started puberty and all of that. You've had opportunities because men have been coming at you since you started growing breasts. You've had opportunities, not options. And all you're doing is exercising your opportunity that you were going to get anyway because you were born with it like that. But for me as a man, in order for me to go out and have sex with multiple women, a lot of different women, I've had to make money, go have a certain job. I have to do certain things to be able to get to that point. I exercise options because I worked to get it. You were born with that.
Yep. That is correct.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but this is the part that I differ. Y'all ready for this? when a man gets married, now I'm talking about a kingdom man. I'm talking about a kingdom man that has said
Okay.
that he's ready to be married to one woman, and he's
Mhm.
taken a vow or a covenant with God,
Right.
his creator, to be
Mhm.
married to that woman. Now, for me, that's a different man. That
Okay.
particular man right there has said, my vow is to this woman, and my covenant and my commitment is to God. And that's who I'm submitting to. And I'm submitting to this one woman, which we're submitting to each other in a monogamous relationship.
Mhm.
At that point in time, when a man has gotten to that point, he has also decided that this is the woman that I'm going to be with. I'm not going to say he loses the desire to be, or the variety of women or whatever, but he has said that part of my life is no longer the most important thing in my life. My relationship with God is. So it's kind of a transfer of power, where this may have been at the top, having sex may have been at the top of my list. Now I know that I have another role in this world, whereas I'm going to do what God has told me to do. I'm trying to fulfill something. So my energy has now, it's been redirected, because if what I'm supposed to do as a married man is to procreate and be fruitful, telling people how, good this thing is, then this is what I want to do. I don't want to displease my father. So it's kind of it's supposed to be a switch in the thought process, because you're obviously thinking like a single man, and you should. But once you make that commitment to go into marriage, your thought process about sex and all those other things, it should change. It should have already been in a process of changing when you decide to actually find a wife and decide to get married. There's supposed to be some changes. I'm not saying you can't fall off now. I could understand. There may be times when you may fall off, and you may need a release or something to make you feel good or whatever. That could possibly happen, but there should be a different man that went into a marriage.
Now, I'll say, Skier Boss, that was absolutely wonderful. We in church. Okay.
I got something
Because
for you.
I'm gonna go back to the sanctuary, sit down for just a second. Okay. There's a responsibility as a kingdom man, as you see it. A kingdom man has a job to do. He's supposed to take everything. He's up God over him over the wife over the children, from the direction of the husband. We already know how that goes. All right, we ain't got to go through all that. He has a responsibility that God has put in his life. And if he's that kind of guy, he's going to make sure those responsibilities are taken care of under that umbrella.
Black man, I need you to slow down right there.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to slow down, because I need you to say that again, and I need you to make people understand what you just said.
Right.
Because that's not everybody.
Right. That's not everybody. A kingdom man has a responsibility. He understands that it's God over him over the wife over the children, from direction of him.
It was not that part. The part I wanted you to repeat is that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. He has to fulfill his responsibility that God has given him.
And that's not all men.
And that's not all men. No. Also, God gave him a position, and he gave his wife a position.
Absolutely.
And as a man and a leader, and he's the kingdom man that you spoke about, none of those men should be in sexless marriages.
No.
It's impossible. Because if we looking at the kingdom man, we basically going off the word of God, right? The Bible says, woman, do not deny husband from sexual intimacy. For if you deny your husband from sexual intimacy, then he will be tempted. That's what it says. So
it says only for a time. Only for a time.
You should abstain from sex.
I agree.
Right? If you're praying or her menstrual, things of that nature, respecting the natural order of things.
Correct.
But when you're not praying and you're not bleeding, you should be tooting, because no man that's a kingdom man should be in a sexless marriage.
Exactly.
And what's happening is we're bringing these marriages together, and we're sitting there saying the vows, and then 90 days after the vows we forget them, and then 120 days after the vows, I don't have to do this no more. I got what I wanted. I got the ring, I got the husband, I got the house. My friends saw me at my wedding. I don't feel obligated anymore. If a man is living the life of a kingdom man, he should never, ever, 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 ever be without sex, respect, love, nurturing, just like she should never be without protection, care, providing,
Well, no, he should never not love and be patient and kind and self
because
with
a kingdom
her,
man dwells with his wife, so he
and she should
dwells
be
with her.
respectful,
Exactly.
submissive to him. But listen, that doesn't mean that they are going to be perfect, but you are exactly right. But understand, the reason why I want you to say it slow, because we often get married, but we don't qualify for the job. And that's what's happening. These people that are married, they're not qualified to do the job. They're not taking it serious, because right now, Black man, you're telling me that a lot of marriages, and I'm assuming you're saying this because you've heard this a lot.
Absolutely.
And I believe you, that women are withholding sex. Those women were not qualified to do the job.
Right. So well, you hear women say it all the time, Security Boss. You've been in this world longer than me. You know, you heard women say, you got an attitude. You gonna want some tonight.
No, I have not.
Anybody on the panel ever heard a woman say
that?
I
haven't. How would I hear that? That's a personal thing. Why would I hear that?
No. I'm saying, like, I said it in general. Like, if most women will say that to their husbands, you got an attitude. Oh yeah, you gonna want some, and I'm gonna tell your Black ass no.
No, I have not heard.
I've heard it. I've heard it at parties. Keep talking. Keep making jokes. You ain't gonna get none tonight. I've heard it.
Exactly.
Okay, again, like I said, not everybody qualifies for the job they have signed up for. Understand that. Listen, it is a biblical thing that these people have signed up for. It's very much biblical, but they're taking their worldly and their circular mind in it and thinking it's going to work for them, and it doesn't. So this is why we end up sexless, and we end up cheating and all these things that we're doing against the biblical concept of marriage. Because a lot of people, they want to say, this is business. It's business.
Security Boss, you hear that?
What?
I heard the simp anthem. Easy Money in the chat. He said, BMU, agree you shouldn't be sexless, but men can't expect women to bust it open on demand. Your wife is not a prostitute. A prostitute is someone who gets paid for sex. Now, if we really want to break this down parenthetically here, if a man is doing his thing and he's paying the bills and he's making sure she's taken care of and that money's coming in there, he already paying for that ass. But we're going to do it from a religious perspective. If that's my wife, she's not a prostitute if I've committed to her and she's committed to me. And sex is one of the things that me and her we share, right? That's one of the things that we'll share together. So I can't see how the prostitution word will come in if she's my wife. I hear a lot of women say that.
We're Easy Money. Addressing everything people say, because sometimes they just be trying to take away or derail the show.
I hear a lot of women say that's like that. So,
hold on for 1 second. Let's make sure we let Anissa and Dr. Steele. Can you complete that last thought you had? And Anissa, you're next, and then JT, we coming over to you.
I wanted to say that, going back to your why men would cheat, it goes back to proper vetting. When you first met the person, proper vetting. See, what I saw in that clip were two people who just want to have sex as many people as you can. And as you saw, that woman wanted to do that too, from the very start. And I'm like, wait a minute, y'all should be, exclusive to each other. Okay. The man did it first, but she had that thought all the time. Okay. I mean, something went wrong with, the vetting in the first place. So it comes down to proper vetting. Also, I want to say this too. Okay. I was never the type of man who would go out and sleep around. Never. I was always that type of man who always looked for relationships. I don't deal with 304s. I'm not a 304 myself. And by the way, men can be 304s. Okay. Yes, Trey. Men can be 304s. I do not. Let me tell you. I do not.
No man that can sell no wiener. I don't know.
I thought a prostitute. Oh God. Okay.
I
I'm
can't
sorry.
go say, girl, you want some of this
I'm
penis? You gonna
sorry.
pay my car note? You gonna pay my
I'm
light
sorry.
bill?
Anyway,
It ain't gonna
listen,
never
we're not
happen.
going down that road. Listen, thank you, Dr. Steve. Let me go to Anissa. Anissa, what you got to say? This you been sitting by quiet behind that O. What's up?
Good evening. SB, I really agree with majority of what you said tonight, surprisingly.
Oh, you don't.
I
You don't. I thought you always agree
Come
with
up
me.
here
usually,
with that, big sis.
usually
Come up here with that.
only thing I disagree with you about is the girl trip thing. But other than that, we're usually on the same page. We
But
are
the only
definitely
reason why you listen, Anissa, the reason why you don't agree with me about that is because you're not married. Once you get married and your mind does like a 180-degree
no,
change, then you'll be
no,
saying the
no,
same thing. I
no,
promise you, you will.
no.
And she gonna
I
meet the
won't.
right man. They're gonna say
I
you ain't going
disagree.
nowhere with
Why
them
why
females.
are you arguing for girls? That doesn't make sense. But I'm
I
just kidding with you. Go
disagree.
ahead.
I
Go
disagree.
ahead. What
But
you
you
gonna
know,
say?
to each his own. However, I do agree with you pretty much totally on this topic.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Go ahead.
no one, man or woman, should be in a sexless marriage. However, I think that you're trying to hold the men accountable earlier may have been missed. If that woman doesn't want to have sex with you, like you said, something happened. It is something either you probably already been cheating and you think she don't know, or you something has happened to that woman where she's like, mm-mm. There is no woman where your man is treating you and loving you and doing all the things that he's supposed to do, and she just don't want to have sex with you. Something happened. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to take responsibility for it. They don't want to be held accountable for it. But something absolutely happened. The second thing is I get confused because on the one hand, we're talking about how we need to have Black families and we need to get men and women together and get these kids together and build families and legacy and blah, 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 blah. And then these same men are turning around and talk about exercising some options. That is just so confusing to me because that is the antithesis of building families and building legacy and building great marriages. Exercising options is cheating. Cheating involves lying, deception, manipulation, humiliation, exposure to disease, and potentially some outside kids. And you want to sit up here and tell women that this is something that men should be able to do, and this is going to help your marriage, and this is how we keep families and marriages together, and that's some BS.
Anissa, now
No,
Anissa,
I'm
now
not
Anissa,
finished. I'm not
now who
finished.
said that, Anissa? Cause
I'm
who
not.
said that on this panel? Now who said
I'm
that?
not finished. I'm not finished. And
I know you finna
so
start some
that is
shit.
that is the problem that I have with these conversations. So no woman should be entertaining any man that says that he wants to exercise options. If that's what he wants to do, then she needs to exit the relationship. That is my opinion. Now, as far as that video, I'm with you, SB. I don't think that that woman wanted to do that from the beginning. I definitely believe that she was responding out of hurt. You need to understand there are different type of women. Every woman ain't gonna sit down and cry and boo hoo hoo and oh my husband cheating on me and and try let me find out what's going on. No, some of them gonna be like, okay, is that's what you want to do? Have you looked at me? Because you married me because of this, and this. So if you choose a woman and you thought she was good enough to marry, trust me, somebody else might think that she's good enough to marry too. That's where those options come in. So
Lord
every woman might not.
Jesus.
I'm not saying that I agree with her, but I'm just saying you got different type of women. And every woman not gonna sit there and try to figure out what's wrong with you and what you're going through and boo-hoo and cry about it. She's gonna be like, okay, we can do this. I'm not saying
Anissa,
that I agree with it. I'm just saying on this particular video, I think this was her stance, and I think that it was exactly from a point of hurt, not that this is something that she's always wanted to do.
Anissa.
That's
So Anissa, do you think that response is one that is true, or do you think it's just made up to try to save face?
I think I think she's hurt, trying to save face. So basically what she's saying is if this is what you want to do, and like she said, you've been doing it because the side chick done call me and whatever she said, so she's responding to that. So she's saying, okay, I'm not gonna allow her to run me away from my marriage. But what I'm telling you is, since this is what you have been doing and this is what you want to do, brother, we're going to be doing the same thing. So if it's okay with you, understand that it needs to be okay. Because like I said, now you have those type of women. So if you man enough to go to your woman and say some mess like that, then you need to be man enough for her to say, okay. Because
But
you know
Anissa,
what? While you out here with your side chick, I saw I met Mr. At my last networking event, I met the CEO of so and so and so, and the way he was looking at me. So go ahead and do what you want to do, because I got an option. Go
hold
ahead
on,
and
man.
deal with your side chick, because I'm gonna get over here with the CEO of so and so company, because he sure was checking me out. She might just be that type of chick, and she might have that type of option.
Anissa,
Don't think every
mute your
woman
mic real
don't
quick.
gotta get a pookie and a
Anissa, let me tell you
ray-ray.
something.
Don't think
Anissa, let
every
me tell
Anissa,
you.
woman
your
Hold
has
on,
to deal
microphone
Anissa.
is
with a
crazy.
pookie and a ray-ray. Understand?
Anissa,
There's
a lot
options
of
out
women
there
have
better
these.
than you.
Anissa, a lot of women have these apocalyptic bunker mindsets.
I don't know what that
A
means. Speak
CEO, I'm gonna
English.
tell you right now, a CEO looking at you, he has
That might
options.
be her option, though.
And he no. And what
That
he
might
gonna
be
do?
her option. Your
Watch this.
option might be
What
the
he
side
gon-
chick that
That's
you don't want
fine. That's
anybody to
fine.
know about.
But
Her option could be the
Anissa,
CEO.
you're
Okay,
going
wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. Hold on for a
Anissa,
minute. Hold
you're
on.
going to
Let her
become the
speak and get
very
it all out.
thing that your husband has, a side chick. Because that CEO ain't gonna focus all his time on you. He gonna be focused time. He gonna hit you, move you along, and go find the 25-year-old girl that he
And you
want,
got a
hit
side
her,
chick, and she
move
has
her
a side
along. That's
dude.
what he gonna
Okay,
do.
so I got a question.
That's
I got
not
a
a
question.
side dude.
Hold
That's
on
not a
for a
side
minute.
dude.
Hold on
You
for a
were a
minute.
hoe
I
for
got a
him.
question.
That's not a side. You
Excuse
were a hoe
me.
for him.
I got a question.
And your
I got a
side chick is a hoe.
question.
SB got a question, guys.
Anissa, see, this is why I don't do panels. So,
Your side chick is
Anissa,
a hoe. She's your
Anissa,
hoe on the side. That's exactly what she
Anissa.
is.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
Anissa, let me ask this question to you. Do you not think at that particular time when you found out or you were confronting the man that you love, because she said she loved him, you don't think that for every woman it would be best to be the vulnerable, hurt woman that we are instead of trying to play equal with the man that we love? What does it benefit a woman to play the game of I'm equal to you, I can do what you do, knowing full well I have no interest in doing what you do or hoeing out with another man? I got a whole child, a whole house, and a husband. I'm not interested in the variety life. I got married. Most women who get married are not interested in the variety life. So wouldn't it be more
Absolutely.
beneficial
And I
to
said that. I said
okay.
her best option is to leave. I said, but understand that there are women out here in the world that exist that think like her. I do not agree with her way of thinking. But
Okay, why would you tell her to leave? Why would you tell her to leave?
I'm speaking for myself. I would not stay
Okay,
with a man that wanted to exercise options.
what about a man that cheated?
I would not stay with a man that cheated.
And what would
But
be your
that's my
reason?
deal breaker. That is my deal breaker.
But
So
what if,
okay, so that's a deal. Okay, so
That's
that
a
would
deal
be
breaker.
that was the
Yeah.
that was my deal breaker at the beginning of my marriage too. So I quite understand what you're saying. But after so many years of growing and building with my husband, I realized that we don't have any deal breakers as of now. But I was just wondering because I don't know that leaving, she didn't want to leave. She did not want to leave that man, and she's not going to cheat. She was just saving face. But I was just wondering why it doesn't work to be vulnerable, because I actually think that there is more power in your femininity than it is her trying to be his equal. You know,
I totally agree with you, SB. I'm just saying there are some women where their initial response might be that. Now she could probably just be talking, the video's rolling, and she's just running her mouth. Very possible that that's what it is. She's just talking big game. But there are women out there like that, and they may feel that way. I don't agree with it. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying that it does exist. But I
right.
do agree with you. And I think that, depending on every woman has a different set of standards for herself. Every woman has a different set of boundaries for herself. If you want to play the damsel in distress and the vulnerability and oh baby, what's wrong and all that kind of stuff, you're more than welcome to do that as well. But there, for some women, they might be like, you know what? You crossed the line, you crossed my boundary, and I'm
But
going to
Anissa, you know what you're saying? You're saying that women don't have an ounce of femininity in them because you're saying they're playing the game when it's time or when they're hurt. It's okay to
Some
be hurt.
women, some women will respond like the lady in the video.
No,
That's
but
all
what
I'm
you just
saying.
said
like the
though,
man in the
I'm not
video?
talking about the video anymore. You said
Okay.
you said play. these are the words, play the damsel in distress. It's not a playing thing to be hurt. If your man hurt you and your heart is hurting, why can't you respond in a feminine way? Why does it have to be? I mean, are you really saying that women, modern women these days, don't have a feminine ounce in them or whatever? They can't respond a way that a
No,
lady
I mean,
would?
I said play the damsel, and you taking that literally like she's playing a
Oh,
role. I don't mean
I
it,
thought that's what you meant. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's not
Hmm.
what I meant.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's go on to JT. JT, what you got to say about this? You've been so quiet, sir. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Is my mic good?
Yes.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. How are you guys doing?
We're good, JT. JT, you got a fiance, or is she your wife now?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay,
But
you got a
she's
fiance then.
in
All
the near
right.
future. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. That video definitely was capped. It was
Okay.
definitely capped. One of the things that I noticed, there was a woman sitting right next to her.
Right.
And to have that type of conversation in front of some friends that's all cap. The way that she presented this, and if you see, I had put a super chat in there, right? And in the super chat, I was saying that she was speaking, she thinks she has the leverage.
Mm-hmm.
She lost leverage. She lost leverage when she sat back and told that man that I can play your game. So when she was telling those women, it was kind of like she was tough talking around a bunch of women on hypotheticals. Because when you have a woman that has been cheated on a man, the first thing that she will do is be the damsel. It'll be all kind of other things. The last thing that you're going to hear from her is her out here talking about cheating and how many men want to be with her. It will be that you hurt me. How could you do me like this? You know, all these different things, because cheating is deceit, period. That's just what it is. If it's not, then you should be able to be man enough to tell that woman that I want to be with you and I want to be with other women, period. If she wants to be with another man, he got to be honest. I don't want you being with another man. It's just one-sided. If that's not what she signed up for, you got to let that lady go. You have to let her go. When we're playing these type of games, especially that we have children and we've built something and things like that, one of the things with men is that we have to be able to practice discipline all the way around. Because when we don't practice discipline, we end up making a gateway for her to see the weakness in us. That is one of the weaknesses that we have, because it takes practice to have that type of that man for one woman. That's why we start out dating when we're very young. That way we'll understand what we're losing. We lose out, especially when we have kids, when we cheat. If you're not cheating, then you should be upfront, period. It's a whole bunch of men that does it because they have the courage to do it. And if those women want to follow those men and go along with that and go with that purpose, then let them be where they're at. But you can't be playing a monogamous game with polygamous game rules. It makes no sense, because now it's contradictive. That's what Anissa was saying. You guys sound contradictive when you say this and that. At the end of the day, we already understand what it is naturally in a man. We want to procreate. We want sex. So we have to be able to get out here and be honest and be on our square when it comes down to that, because our purpose is more than just procreating, especially during times like this. These are dangerous times. So the number one thing that we should do if we want to be married is to find a woman that is worthy of being a wife. If she wants to be married, she has to find a man that first and foremost has discipline in life. He has to have discipline in life. So when it comes down to who's cheating, who's not, that's not, especially when it comes down to men. At a certain part of your life, you're not dealing with it no more. You're not dealing with how many women you can get and all those things. Those are boys' ways. We just talked about this. The way that we did it as teenagers, we practiced. How many numbers did you get? How many women? How fine were they? All these different things. But as we get older, as we start building a household, man, it's dangerous to have a woman at a so-called side piece. That you got women that's really look at what they were just saying. Didn't that woman, after he done had sex with her and all that, she went to his wife and told his wife in detail That because she wanted to destroy everything that man had worked for. And what he did was left himself vulnerable for that. That's what he did. So when we're talking about cheating, period, we're talking about deceit. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not speaking as a man that was like, I cheated before. A lot of times. I've messed up a lot of relationships by not being honest. I messed up some opportunities. Then I had to grow up and be a man. And guess what I ended up doing? Found that life is way more than just me out here trying to take down every woman. Life is way more than that. And as we get older, it's kind of crazy to be 60 years old and trying to build something with somebody because all you're going to have is a couple of years. I love to see people to say, I got 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. I love to see that because now you can understand more of the union. Now you can actually say, oh, I get what the Bible is saying now. I understand exactly what that scripture means now. But how can you do that when you have people that got 2 years in marriage, 3 years in marriage, and they trying to tell you how marriage actually is? That's not, you ain't in marriage. You still out here trying to build something. That's why I love it when you see young folks that are actually trying to be in the business of it. The only way they'll be able to conquer it is to be around people that actually understand the purpose of what marriage is. Period. And I land right there.
So, JT, I like what you said. It's just one thing I want to add, and I'm going to do it from the woman's side. You said that men need to find women who are wanting to be wives. Listen, I got a whole show that's going to come out, and we're going to just open our eyes a little bit more because I say that often. But I think what is lost is we're living in a godless society. Mm-hmm. And even though they want to be wives, you got to operate in principles. So we're marrying people. Husband and wives, men and women are marrying all day, every day, and there is no principle to the marriage. There's nothing. So this is why we are here. This is why we ask these questions. So instead of finding a wife, a woman that says she's ready to be married, we got to find one who has definitely pursued that relationship with her Father in heaven, the Creator, and found out what a wife actually looks like. I actually say this often because, like you just said, it's way more than life than just satisfying your husband sexually. We do have a purpose for being here. And for men that think that women don't like to have sex, it's totally not true. They do. They actually really want to please their husbands. That's not our only job, but we really, really do. That's just the divine order. We want to know what helpmates are. We want to know what that actually looks like, because if this woman right here was really being a wife, she could have never come off that aggressive to the man that she actually loved and cared for deeply, telling him, hey, we're going to stop effing. This man probably, you wouldn't see your wife talking to you like that. That wouldn't be something that she would say. Those are not her language. So that is what's most important, because again, like you just said, this is a biblical concept. You didn't say it that way, but this is a biblical concept. And to understand what the Bible is saying and the way it's supposed to be done, there's some understanding and following of some principles that have to be done also. So in other words, there's some submission that needs to happen.
Yes.
And that's not what's happening. We're not doing that. So
now security boss.
Yes, sir.
Freezy said something last night on Sir Hell's show that really just stuck with me. When he talked about his wife, he said his wife treats him how she feels about God. Ooh. I will never forget that.
Well, you know, your whole marriage is supposed to be the example
right.
of that.
Everything that she does for him is she's worshiping God as she's treating him the way she treats him. And then after that, it was a high five moment, because Lost in Translation came right behind him and said, if your woman don't love God and she doesn't have God in her, she should not be a wife.
Nope.
Boy, them boys took me out last night. Them boys took me out last night. But yeah.
You gotta let that one breathe.
Man, Trigger, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, Trigger.
Salute to everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I just had a question. This is a panel about marriage. The hell is Trey doing here?
Trey likes to debate. Trey like to hear me talk, I believe. I love Trey being here though. I think I tell him that all the time.
What is Trey doing here? Okay.
Trey
I'm
wants to
the
be
only
married.
one. I'm the only one that's actually dating. Probably besides Shushu, I'm the only one that's actually dating.
And she ain't dating. I don't know what she waiting on.
Okay, so then I'm the only one that's actually dating in this century, and so I just find it interesting that this space is typically about
whoa! This century, bro. I was dating.
most of you have been married for over 20 years.
No,
Well,
5
14
years.
for me, buddy. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm
so
counting.
well then you dated. But majority of you have been married, and JT who's about to get married. But a lot of you, like when I hear people talk about marriage, I'm like, well, you talking about the 90s, the 80s, and all I'm trying to get across is the principles that you guys have ingrained in yourself in marriage is not what's happening today. And I think you guys see it for yourselves because you guys play videos time and time again that prove that these women do not want to be married. And if they do want to be married, it is not the way that you want to be married, SB, or that your marriage is. That's not what they want.
They want partnership.
But Trey, I'm sorry, Trigger, go ahead.
They want equity.
I was going to say, I have like microscopic disagreements because I don't ever really disagree with you because you're right. What you're saying is, but remember, my only disagreement with that is that we are behaving as if a woman's nature has changed, and it is not. They're misbehaving because they're being allowed to. And it's almost as if they know, like, we got to understand the women know better. And they know the time is going to be up. It's like getting it while the getting is good, right? So that we understand, like I'm telling you right now, you heard me use the analogy. I understand a woman's true nature. That's why when I see a group of women going out to brunch and they celebrating life as women and single and throwing their mimosas back and forth, I people watch. Let me and all my alpha brothers and all our wives come in. They got their nice sundresses on. You know, I'm lending up. All those women mood just changed just a little bit. The whole mood in the room just changed because now they like, well, damn, I want to be loved on like that. And I'll take time and I'll look in their face and say, damn, they were celebrating being single. They were celebrating life until they seen what a relationship actually looks like. Now I can't even focus on my mimosa because I just see eyes from their tables looking over at me like, oh, I wish my man was here loving on me like that, right? So I know that that's what they truly want, Trey. That's what they truly want, but I don't know, they lack either the ability to go out and find it for themselves. They've given away so much of their virtue that they don't think that they deserve it, or they don't feel like they're worthy of it. And really what it is that most people are afraid that they cannot uphold the institution of marriage, therefore they have to pretend like they don't like it.
Right, and this is where I disagree. I think a lot of the times, because I've seen that too, right? When I was in the military, you would go into certain places, you get professional men that walk in and the mood changes, right? But what I often see is that women are prisoners of the moment. They like it for what it is right then and there. But when I see marriage, when I look at somebody who's married, I see work. I see valleys and peaks. I see hard work. I see some days you're going to love each other and some days you ain't really feeling each other. And I see a lot of women who don't understand those concepts, that every day is not going to be great. And so if that is the case, then they are prisoners of the moment. Yeah, they want what you have, Trigger Mike, because at that very moment, it feels good to them. But in 4 months, 5 months, 2 years, 3 years, what did the former first lady say? 10 years? She didn't like Barack for 10 years. How many women can go 10 years without liking their husband?
Let me give you the alternative. So you are actually, no, we can go at this because there's a trade-off. Everything comes with a trade-off, right? So that is what they're selling to themselves and women are selling to each other. So, and let's look at the other basis that they say they want to be single for, right? I can pay my own bills. Let me ask all the women in the chat a simple question. I am smart enough to know that you can pay your own bills. Do you want to? Shushu, do you want to pay your own bills?
I do. I'm sorry, Trigger Mike.
For the entirety of your life, you want to pay your own bills. That's cap.
Well, so, if I'm being honest, like it is more fun to spend somebody else's money. That's
okay, so I'll be like, that's cap. So when we ask these simple questions, right, Trey? It's like, yes, you can pay your own bills, but do you want to? And then they'll understand the simple fact that, oh snap, I did not practice enough foresight to look 5, 10 years, 15 years down the line, where a woman is going to have backup at every single turn. She's going to own more property than I ever own. She's going to have more savings in her bank account than I will ever have. She's going to have, women in marriages raise better children. Her children are going to get better scholarship offers. They're going to be in better groups, better. So they're going to realize that every decision they made in being single does not benefit the totality of their life, just the temporary part of whatever it is they're loving about being single right now. They won't win, bro. It won't be a lasting effect. And this is the part that I think is going to hit a lot of single moms, bro. Now you start to see, now that some of these ladies, Gen X are turning 60 and all that type of stuff, their children that they did not provide a family for are refusing to take care of them. So when it comes full circle, these dudes are like, you did not prioritize creating a stable home and a family for me. Why do I have to break my back since now I've had 2 wives? I got all these types of relationship issues. Can't keep a relationship. You want me to drop everything and take care of you? When we start seeing all of that manifest itself, women will understand what they did wrong. They do want marriage, bro.
Nursing homes are going up.
Can I say this real quick? As a person who is also out here on the dating market, you have to keep in mind, yes, it's frustrating, but the thing you have to keep in mind is if you are trying to like a relationship, a committed relationship, is what you want, because I don't think you really want marriage. But the bottom line is you're only looking for one. You know what I mean? And so, like, yes, anything worth having is you gonna have to put in some work to get. You know what I mean? Finding the right person is not just going to be like you just walk outside and, oh my God, that's the one. Like life just doesn't work that way. You're going to have to go through the vetting process. You're going to have to go through the process of, finding people. And, through that process, unfortunately, yes, you're going to meet some real folks. You're going to meet some people who are just not the one. But the bottom line is you just got to remember you're only looking for one. You know what I mean? And then, when it comes to marriage, yes, is work, but a relationship is work. So by the time you get to a marriage, to the point of a marriage, like, not saying it should be like easy or home run, but like, if you've been putting in the work this far to get to this point, so you got to understand it's not just going to stop being work because it's a marriage now. You know what I mean? So you gotta be committed to actually having that one person and making it work with.
So what you're saying is, I just think that the pursuit is all off. I think women are looking for men and men are looking for women, but they need to be looking for God. That's what they're missing. Because even if you found one that seemingly was halfway perfect, you wouldn't know what to do if you don't understand the principles, because that's what carries you. That's what keeps you. Just like Shusha just said, the commitment and the faithfulness is what carries you throughout the years. Otherwise, you're going to mess up in 2 years. That's what JT just said. If you ain't figured out how to be married and understand these godly principles that they hold you to, or that the marriage holds you to, then don't try to play the game. And it's actually not a game. It's a real thing. If you're not ready for this biblical concept of being married because you haven't pursued the creator of it, then you got to leave it alone.
Well,
you're not cut to be that person. It's just not for you.
Let me also add. Let me add the secular aspect to that, because everybody's not a believer, right? And one thing that I say, even if I wasn't a Christian, I'd still be married. There are 5 things that you will most certainly find to say that human civilization was there throughout history: birth, death, war, taxes, and marriage. Since the beginning of people have paired off man and woman to raise children under his name, so on and so forth. So even without the religious aspect of it, the one thing I love about marriage, just as from a child being raised into an adult, before I can put 2 to 2 together about what they were saying in church, was that I love the way a man can take care of his woman and a woman can take care of her man. This bond just makes sense. A child that can't speak words yet understands the bond between 2 people and how that is relevant to the community aspect. Even a child can understand that and be
okay. So Trigger Mike, I got to push back for you, because what we just saw in that video is a secular marriage, because they were married. Yeah. And listen, and he cheated. and she wasn't willing to get out the marriage, but they both was going to do what they wanted to do, and they still going to have that union. I think when most people talk about being married, they talk about being married successfully with each other. Just being together, you can be together. I mean, anybody can do that, but we're talking about accomplishing a good union, which is successful, which grows, which multiplies, and you can go tell somebody about the goodness of it. Just being with somebody and he doing what he want to do and you doing what you want to do. I don't think that is what we are considering a marriage, a good marriage. I don't think so. And then when you wake up 10 years later and you say, I'm leaving, that's not what that's not what God, is talking about. And I think most people pursue what God is talking about. And it doesn't have to be a Christian. I know Jews get married. I know Muslims get married. It doesn't have to be Christianity. It could be your belief. If you don't have one and you're destined to do what you want to do, leave marriage alone. It's not for you. It's not. You have to have some concept.
I saw the video. Go ahead.
I was going to say there is no, also to add to that, there's no investment into the marriage. After you're married, no one's putting in the work anymore, and there's no investment. Security boss, for marriages that are struggling right now, this is what I want them to do. Go and get your wife's cell phone, if she'll let you get it. Some of y'all but go get your wife's cell phone, and I want you to go to her usage.
For what?
Her usage.
Okay.
And I want you to look at how much time she spent on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Go through all the social media, and I guarantee you that it's more time than she spends investing into your marriage.
She could have had sex with her husband.
So listen, guys, listen. Hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
Make sure that you all get the likes up when you're coming into the live. Make sure you're doing that, please. All right, I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No. And if it's not the usage on the phones, right? Go to the TV, right? Go and look at what she's investing her time in. Snapped, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Love and Hip Hop Miami, Basketball Wives, All the Queen's Men, Sisters.
Blackman, I think you just made my point.
I know what I'm saying is that investment of time is going in the wrong direction. I think that time should be invested into your marriage. Cut all that out and invest that time into the person that you're married to.
But what
I
about
agree with you. I'm sorry.
What about before marriage, right? When you're courting someone, you got 8 months. Everything that you just said, they will tell you everything that you need to know in within that 8 months. If you are serious about dating, within 8 months, if you are seriously dating that person, you're going to find out everything about them when it comes down to should you marry them or not. They're going to tell you. By the time they get to about 90 days, you know exactly who this person is. I think the problem is that people ignore they ignore these indications. All you have to do is just look at just daily things. Look at what the credit score look like.
Okay.
The credit score. Look at their car. Look at how they keep their car. What type of car did they have? Look at the money, where they spend their money at. Look at where they spend just like what Black Man was saying. Look at where they spend their time at, who they spend their time with. Look at all these different things about them. A lot of people ignore these things. They ignore it. Look at how they spend their money.
So listen, guys, let me do this really quick. Who was that? Is that Anissa?
No, I was going to say, no, we're not ignoring that.
Hold on for a minute, Trey. Let me do these super chats. Keep that thought. Don't forget it. Because it's been a while. Mr. Boss is telling me. Okay, so listen, Clement, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Show me a woman who respects God, I will show you a wife. Show me a man who loves God, I will show you a husband. Thank you so much for that, Clement. I love that. No perfect marriage, but marriage to perfect God. Clement, thank you again for your $2 super chat. And let's see what else we got here. Let me see. I has a couple others and I don't see that. Oh, what we need to know podcast. Thank you, sir. So she thinks that she has leverage in the relationship because she let him know that she knows that he cheated, when in fact she lost leverage. You're exactly right. And that's exactly what you said when you came here. She's actually sound like she was getting some type of revenge, like she was, I'm gonna get you like that. And actually she would be losing if she would go out and have sex with other men. And then what if she got pregnant while doing so? That's ridiculous. I just don't believe it. Anyway,
Yeah.
Dr. Steele, thank you for your $10 super chat. He says, love is fading away. Love is fading away from the dating realm. Love is fading away from the relationship realm. Love is steadily fading away from the marriage realm. Can't let love fade away. Thank you so much, Dr. Steele. So, Trey, go ahead with that thought, sir. Oh, wait a minute.
We got one more, I think.
No, it was O'Shea. I saw one from O'Shea.
It's black, built like a conquering king too.
Okay, hold on for a minute. Let me see. If you see him black, if you see him BM, you can go. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Black. He says there are two things that don't discuss during a divorce. Wait a minute. There are two things they don't discuss during a divorce: God and love, right? Which would be one. You're right. They don't. You're right. They don't discuss it in the beginning either. That's why they end up where they at. Those are very important things. One more. O'Shea. Do you see Black Man? Do you see O'Shea's?
I see. Hold on just a second.
I saw it a moment ago, but it went away.
I'll find it. It's
Okay,
another
Trey.
lady it's another lady want to get on the panel. She said drop the link.
Okay. Trey, go ahead.
How value wives?
Okay, sure. Trey, go ahead and tell us what you were getting ready to say, sir. And
No,
how value wives
I was pushing back on what JT said. There are men out here who are doing all of those things, and a lot of the time, the women, they don't know how to deal with that level of honesty. If I want to check your credit score within the first 90 days, they don't. If I say, listen, I think Anton refers to it as a paperwork party. If we're gonna have a paperwork party, and I'm gonna come to you and I'm gonna say, listen, this is my credit score, this is my net worth, this is what I own, and you bring yours, and we're gonna have this conversation. A lot of women don't want to have that real conversation, and they don't want to be honest. One of the issues that I've always found is that maybe I'm a little bit too honest. I will tell you, listen, I'm not necessarily looking for monogamy, but I'm gonna tell you up front. There's no hitting. I'm not hiding it. You're gonna know it. I am going to date other women. If that bothers you, I'm not your guy. Go find somebody else.
And I think they're afraid to tell you that they don't want that.
It bothers them.
Well, I don't think women want that. I think women want to have their man. I just believe women want to be in a monogamous relationship with their man, that they're either potentially marrying or that they did. I mean, because who wants to have a man that they know is sleeping around with another woman? Who wants that? Why would you want that?
Modern women.
I was in a relationship where at the very beginning she asked me flat out, "Do you want to be married?" I said no. I asked her, "Do you want to be married?" She said no.
Okay.
3 years later, she felt differently. And for me, I always said, no, you didn't feel differently. You felt that way from the very beginning. You just couldn't tell me the truth for whatever reason. And here we are 3 years later in a relationship. A lot of women actually cannot handle the truth. If you walk up to a woman and tell her, listen, I don't really like you. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. I just want to sleep with you. They can't handle it. So men, they just go along with it. And a lot of these guys are getting into these marriages because I have friends who do it. They're suppressing it because they want to be with her, but that's not what they really want. They can't tell her, hey, I want to sleep with other women. I want to marry you, but I want to sleep with other women too. They can't say that.
No, I think
that's not acceptable.
I think she was being truthful, Trey. She was being truthful. That is a woman's number one tendency, is to change her mind. So you should have understood that, man, this is gonna be good till it's not. Like I said, they're going to be with you.
And she realized, like,
listen, here's why. It's because they believe when we take something from them and they get nothing in return for it, then we won. And you see what I'm saying? She's not going to go to too many brunches or too many events with friends and they all got rings on their fingers. And you getting the best of her. You live with her. She cooking for you. She washing, ironing your clothes. No. The number one tendency of a woman is to change her mind. That's why you're going to be married again. That's why I love all these guys talking smack. You, Fatty, Lou, all y'all do.
You say it again?
What?
5 years. I give it 5 years.
I do have to push back a little bit, Trick. About women do that a lot. They're just not upfront about what it is that they want. You got a lot of women who know from the beginning they want a relationship. A relationship is what they want. And if a guy says that I don't want a relationship, rather than just saying, okay, thank you, here is where the conversation ends, they'll just go along with it, hoping that, at some point she can change his mind.
That's what I said.
And when he doesn't change his mind, then she's upset.
Yeah,
because you were like, in the beginning, you think she was being honest, but she didn't want a relationship. No, she probably did.
No. What I'm saying is that didn't want to be married.
No,
That's what.
that's what I'm saying. She probably did want to be married from the beginning, because you got to understand this. Most women, especially ones who grew up in a household and the parents who were married, or they grew up with, seeing marriages, understand that that is what you're supposed to go on to do. You know what I mean? So, like, more than likely,
her parents were married
she's
for 30
always
years.
wanted to get married, but because Trey told her, no, I don't want to get married, rather than just cutting her losses right here, well, this isn't the guy I'm looking for because we don't want the same thing, she went along with it and said, well, I don't want to get married either. I don't want to get married tomorrow, but she knows that at some point she does want to get married.
I think there are both types of women exist, because really when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about like my ex-girlfriend, okay? 7 years on and off dating, 3 exclusive, and 7 years total on and off. This woman said, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. In college, that was perfectly fine. That was perfectly fine. Then, do you know the stark confession of when this woman laid her bare soul out and said, I want to be your wife and I want to have your babies? Do you know when that revelation came? A day before my wedding day, to another woman.
A day before your wedding day.
Listen, we be way off sometimes. So listen, but let's hold on for a minute right now. Let me read this super chat. And Trigger Mike, you are exactly right. That is exactly how women play games, because women want to be wanted. It is a terrible game they play. I don't know what's wrong with being vulnerable at times, especially when you know a man cares that's been with you for 7 years. But it's something that we do tend to do. So, it's just like the woman in the video. It's just like that. So let me read this. O'Shea, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says, sit yourself down, girl, and talk to me. Tell me what's on your mind. If everything was okay, then you wouldn't be crying. If you know, you know. And that is exactly correct.
Let's straighten it out. It's from a song called Let's Straighten It Out.
Let's straighten it out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
That sounds like some blues.
Down, girl,
that sounds like some blues song. But anyway, let's welcome Miss High Value Wives to the platform. And you got it. Go ahead and tell us what you think about. Have you seen the video?
No, sorry. It's actually my husband. That's why I put hubby, because he wanted to address something he heard like 20 minutes ago, if that's okay.
Sure, it's okay, but SB don't have the best. I have lights in my eyes, so I can hardly see some things. But okay, we can talk to your hubby, sure.
Security boss, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So greetings, everyone. Hey, black man, I didn't speak to you last time I was on your panel. Sorry, I thought it was he said's thing. So what's up to you, sir? So yeah, I just sorry to kind of take the conversation back, but I heard something. It was what you said, security boss. You said that people should, if they're not ready to conform to the standards that are made by God within the marriage arrangement, then they shouldn't be getting involved with it at all. And then I think the gentleman in the center, Sugar Mike, then you said you wanted to, I guess, rebuttal that with.
I gave him a little bit of pushback, but I understood what he was saying.
Yeah, I think, but the thing I wanted to emphasize is you can't really focus. There is no way you can exclude God out of the marriage arrangement. Like, there is no secular perspective only, because marriage doesn't come from anywhere other than God. I mean, in all honesty, like, if we take our beliefs out of it, how often do we hear guys say that men are, promiscuous by nature or whatever? They want to spread their seed to as many a fertile soil as they can find, right? Well, if that's the case, then why on earth would man decide to create a union that straps and binds him to just one woman? It would not be his idea at all, right? It would have to be someone else other than that man. And so it's clearly that the union of marriage is created by God. And so we can't remove that out of marriage, because God is how you succeed in marriage. God is what makes a marriage successful. I mean, and there are some exceptions, right? There's some people who can succeed in marriage without being like godly people, but that does not extrapolate the reason behind their success. So if God says to men, love your wives tenderly, and then for women, respect your husbands, have deep respect for them. You can still have deep respect for your husband, and a husband can have tender affection, patient, gentle love towards his wife without being godly people.
And
you see what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if it's best for me to. I think you're saying exactly what I was saying.
No, I am.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
reiterating.
So
what
Let me
I'm
give
gonna
him
let
a.
Trigger.
This is
Yeah,
not even a
I'm sorry.
rebuttal. It's not even really a rebuttal, because let me just clarify what I was saying. Ultimately, I'm a Christian, and what I find is it's irony when people try to keep God out of marriage. Because if we look at the Bible, when the way I explain the Bible to people, I said, well, if you take out the myths, the Bible is a book of common decency and respect. You see, it's a book of principles. You see what I'm saying? So I said, even when you see people who aren't religious do marriage and they seek the counsel of other people from a non-biblical perspective, what type of advice are you going to give? Advice about respect, about the human condition, about common decency, about love for one another, all things which are represented in God. So I actually agree, because I'm a Christian, right? So I'm telling people that God without marriage is actually, and I'm a marriage without God is an oxymoron, because God is really represented in all things. Anytime you are going to take a approach of anything good to go into something in earnest and in service to someone other than yourself, you're doing a godly thing. That's the only way to make your marriage work. So even when people think they're doing it outside the bounds of religion, they're actually adhering to the same religion they claim not to follow. You see what I'm saying?
I do. I think you're speaking more on the basis of ultimately, and I'm speaking more on the basis of specifically. So like specifically, with respect to your statement, God is in all things. So marriage without God is an oxymoron. That statement is both true and untrue, because yes, it is an oxymoron because God is in all things, but it's also an oxymoron because God created marriage. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So it's absolutely specifically not something, removing all generalities, it's not something that someone could ever conceive of removing God out of if they wanted to succeed, unless they were the exception and they adhered to God's standards unbeknownst to them. That's the only way.
You're still reverencing God's principles, but you're not, you're not giving him reverence for the principles.
Correct.
Still acting in order. And something else you said, I hate to call you hubby, but anyway, hubby.
No,
what you're saying is totally correct. But what happens is the word you used was successfully. There are now people have taken marriage and have made it total business, as though there's some kind of contract and agreement that we're going to do this and this and this. And these things don't come out successfully because that's not the foundation of what marriage was created. We actually need to come out with another name. We always renaming and redefining everything else, but we're not going to do that for marriage. But we actually should come with something else to define those things that people get into. Now, in modern time, that's where we are. So Trey, you're far as God and divorce. I think there's only two reasons that you can actually get out of a marriage or have a divorce. It was only two things that God allowed. And then somebody put in something about David having wives. Y'all, everything that went on in the Bible, it went on, but it's not like God approved of all of it. I know you all know that. He didn't approve of all these things that were going on. Marriage is for one man and one woman. It says it crystal clear. So just because somebody did something, it's just like now, there's free will for people to do whatever it is they want to do. But don't think that there's going to be consequences and things that have to be, it's going to be consequences for the things that we do. It's not, God is not pleased with everything that we do. So
and who is really going against God at this point, though? Let's put that out there.
Just about everybody.
Everybody, right? Because even if you go to the most of the divorces right now filed by who? Let's just be real. Men ain't just gonna leave no marriage like this.
70 or something percent.
70-some percent of marriages are the filing is done by the wife.
Correct.
But if we go to the Bible as it said, like you said, I'm gonna get off of it right now, but I'm gonna just say this part. If you go to Malachi 2:16, it says, "For I hate divorce," says God.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's something that he hates. He does not want the man and the wife to be apart. He doesn't want divorce.
No.
So if
real
really,
quick, Black Man,
go ahead.
even to emphasize your point, and then I'll just come back. Even so much so that Security Boss referenced, there's two things, and it's not to two things that you can divorce for. It's two things that end a marriage.
Right.
One is death, and the other one is adultery. So even though he hates divorce, he still gave you a choice if adultery was committed, but but it makes no difference towards his feeling toward divorce. He still hates it, even though he gave you a legitimate reason. I still hate that action. I just gave you a legitimate reason because I understand the psychology behind how difficult it would be for that marriage to succeed after this. So to your point, he hates divorce, but that doesn't mean he's okay with it just because he gave us the choice.
Right.
He still hates it.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
you good. You good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
That was perfect. That is exactly
I
what
don't understand divorce at all, to be honest. And like BM you said, not to throw a bashing party or whatever, but really what it is that people are abandoning God simply because it interferes with marriage in general is a process of surrender. And the irony of it is that men and women alike, but mostly women, believe that they can outline a life for themselves with their own choices better than a life that is outlined under the principles of God. I have watched 100% of people fail using their own doctrine, which is interesting because nobody ever sees it that way. Right. Everybody, I'm good out here. I make my own decisions. You wreck your life every single time. Right. So not only that, you leave a path of destruction in your wake. You wreck your children's lives. You wreck your finances. But yet, hey, hot girl summer. Let me get this syphilis popping. Right. So,
hey, why do they call you? Why is your name Trigger Mike?
I'm a firearms entrepreneur.
I understood.
Firearms expert.
Are there
was amazing.
Are there any cases where Christians get married who have put God first and got divorced?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
You know what I find interesting?
I guess that's where my confusion lies, because
so Trey, you looking for one second, JT.
I'm not looking for perfection or anything along those lines.
Okay, well, you still have free will, even though you follow Christ. There is still, even though you may be a Christian, not Christianity, but even though you may be a Christian, you follow Christ, you still can mess up. And there's two reasons to end your marriage. It's still there. That still exists. That doesn't, just because you took the vows, don't mean you're gonna, remember we talked about the blueprint the other week?
Yeah.
How God has given us a blueprint in Ephesians on how to be married. And if you follow that blueprint, if the husband loves the wife the way God says you're supposed to love that wife and be that example, and then the wife's supposed to respect and submit that husband. If we did that and made an honest effort to do that on a daily basis, there would not be any divorces. But what happens is we still live here in this world.
And I'm sorry.
Right, so how does reality play into that?
But I just want to throw.
Yeah, so one of the leading causes of divorce is money, right? So how does all of that play in? And obviously, I
actually have a good answer for that.
It's simple. I get the free will aspect.
Let me get a real quick.
I understand the free will aspect of it, but if we're talking about women who are initiating divorce because either he's not making enough money or he does not have enough money, how does all of that play in if they're Christians?
I don't know if that's actually the reason, though.
Even if we can pretend that it is the reason, here's the simple answer: the leading cause of divorce is not money. The leading cause of divorce is selfishness. That's what that leads to your reason of, oh, it's not enough money, or oh, he liked to party too much, or whatever, or she didn't give me enough sex. Like, the leading cause of divorce is people not putting their mate's interests above their own, selfishness. And so selfishness will cause you to, although you vowed to God to stay with this person until you died or they died, you still went back on that vow. Who are you thinking of when you did that? Yourself. You are a selfish person. So the least
let me add this, Trey.
It's
Trey, think about it
it's
this way.
incredibly difficult to have a conversation when people sort of make things up. If
Hold on,
selfishness
Trey.
is not a box to check. You can't check.
Hold on. Let me add this to it though, Trey. Let me add this.
One of the
if we were
boxes
gonna
is
call,
it's a lack of money. So how
hold
does
on,
that play in?
look at it this way, Trey. Look at it this way. I would like to call God in terms of men and how we view him. I would like to call God consequences. Men fear consequences, which is why I feel like it's actually pretty funny that men aren't the ones leaving the relationship primarily. Once we're in the relationship, we're really in it. So then you have to then make the distinction to say women leave the marriage 70 to 80% of the time because they found a way to isolate themselves from consequences. Because the women who are closest to religion, i.e., Islam, other religions, or rishas, these women stay closely tied to their men through the religion because the consequences for such an action are severe. Right? So if something had to stand in the way for the woman to say, I can divorce with no fault, right, and get away with it, nobody's going to shame me. And that's why it's so prevalent. Right? Because if men were out here doing the same thing that women were doing, I would call it a 100% complete godless society. But when men are in the relationship or the marriage, we're really in it for real. We let the woman do all type of stuff that, as long as it goes unnoticed by general public, I think most men do that. Right? But
Hey
the
Trey,
women on the other hand have simps, they got men, they got other men, they got politicians, they got laws basically saying you can leave this and nobody's going to shame you for it. And that's why they do it at such a high rate.
Let me add something before you say something. Trey, I hear you often say, and I hear a lot of people in these spaces say this, you always speak of reality. Who creates your reality? Who creates your reality?
I don't know how to answer that question. Who creates my reality? Somebody's creating my reality, and I don't have any control over it.
Well, I'm asking you, then that would be you. You would be the answer then, right?
Well,
because I create my reality, and my reality.
It depends on the circumstances. When I was in Iraq, I was not creating my reality.
You did. You just didn't do it immediately.
Yeah, the response.
No, I was
made
not
the
creating
decision
my
to
reality when I was being shot at and blown up. I was not.
No, but you made.
That.
Yeah, you probably didn't immediately create it, but you did make the decision to enlist in the military. So you always have something to do with it. It may not be something immediate, bro, but the problem is that I think that what we do is we keep creating God instead of God creating us, and we end God. It's an end. It's like God comes around and make a cameo appearance when we need God to be there, instead of understanding that God is always there. And we make God out to be this man that knits up our life instead of it's universal.
If God is always there, why are people getting divorced?
No, but listen, what Trigger Mike just said, there's consequences.
No, based on what you said, wouldn't that mean that God is encouraging the divorce?
Listen,
no.
There's
even though he doesn't want divorce at all.
No, Trey, it's consequences. With it goes to what Trigger Mike was saying. I look at God like that too. It's consequences when you go against what you're supposed to be, the righteous thing to do. When you go against the righteous thing to do, there's consequences. It don't mean that it's just where you get killed and all these, but it's consequences. It's life consequences. Look at what's happening right now.
Trey,
when you have people that have.
Sorry. Let me ask him this way. Let me ask him this way. Trey, is it wrong to kill?
No, depending on the circumstances.
Then your answer has to be depending on the circumstances. You can't say no depending on the circumstances, right? Right or wrong?
You asked me, is it wrong to kill? No, it's not wrong to kill. There are certain circumstances where I've had to take somebody's life. Or it would have been my life.
That's an incorrect answer. Your answer the correct answer is yes, but it depends
on the circumstance.
On the circumstance, not no, but it depends on the circumstance. It's yes. Morally, everyone.
The answer I gave you was no. But you can't correct my answer.
Well, it's incorrect. Like
it's not incorrect. That's the answer I gave you.
But if I told you gravity didn't exist, it's still incorrect, right? It's not no depending on it doesn't exist depending on the circumstance. No, it just doesn't exist, and that's an incorrect answer. So
my
it's okay.
My question is simple: if God is in everything, why are people getting divorced?
Well,
People who believe in God, people who believe in God who are Christian. If God is in everything, why are 80%, 8 out of 10 marriages are ending in divorce? Because women, and Trigger Mike's answer makes a lot of sense, by the way. But 8 out of 10 marriages are ending because women are initiating the divorce. Why? Why is a man like me who has worked his ass off to get what he has, why should I go out and go marry a woman and then be called selfish because I want to protect what I have, even though if I marry her, I give her everything that I have while we're married. I'm not being called selfish then, but if we get divorced, I want to protect everything that I have. Now I'm selfish. Why? Why would I get married? It doesn't make any sense.
So no,
I keep asking married people these questions, and married people they have the worst answers.
You were selfish going in. You were still that selfish person, and you still hadn't got the concept of the godly principles yet. Because if I want to protect it, but while we're married, I'm giving her everything that I have while we're married. How am I selfish? Because when you're married, you're one with another person. You're one with another person. But I'm gonna say something to you. I'm gonna ask you this question, and maybe you can understand God a little better this way. You have sex, don't you?
Yes.
Why are you having sex? Because God don't like sex. God don't like sex outside of marriage. It's very immoral. But why are you doing it?
Because I want to.
But He's allowing you to do it.
Okay. So that's my point. That's my point.
Exactly. It's the same difference.
So by that logic, He's also allowing divorce.
Exactly. That's what we said. You said why is He allowing it?
But the book also says that He doesn't like it.
He does not like it, but He gives you free will to make your choices.
So then why would I need God if I can make the decision, if it's on me and I can make the decision, why?
Because you also are accepting the consequences for the decisions that you have made.
Exactly. The consequences.
Be good. You may not see them. Okay, so what? You're going through it right now. You're experiencing those consequences right now.
Let me answer his question too, because I even believe what he's saying from the perspective of men have a lot to fear getting into a marriage.
Absolutely.
Right. But the reason why you'll probably not see men of a certain type put marriage off is because we instill honor in all things. If you're religious, you are going to say, I will honor God at all times. Right. So just like you said, you like to have sex, you took the woman's body, you used her womb. Guess what? You are going to establish honor in the situation. Now, if you really want to drill down into it, women actually need to live and establish their own honor under ours. That's what we hope to do under the institution of marriage. I made an honest, don't we use that word? I made an honest woman out of you. I didn't have to do this because the world typically isn't shaming people for that right now. But I made an honest woman out of you and I married you because I poked your belly out. Right? Men tend to lean to do the more honorable thing. And no matter what you say, I know you're that dude. You're a police officer and a service member. Right. You will see the person struggling and you will risk your own life in a moment's notice without thinking about it to save theirs. That is because you are wired to do what is honorable. That's why it looks like men are jumping off the bridge for women who are ultimately going to end up screwing them in the end, but they are misusing us, not the other way around. They will be judged for what it is they're doing by society. Right now, it seems like they have an advantage, right? But men will never stop doing honorable things just because of what women do.
And just because you don't acknowledge him don't mean that he's not there. That's just that simple.
I don't know, Trigger Mike. It's a lot of men out here ain't trying to make honorable women.
Because it's not shame.
It's not trying to make honorable women.
We're talking about that 20%.
What 20% of women who want to be?
No, 20% of the men who are
it's like 24 assholes. 24% of men have upwards of between 54 and 70% of the children under the age of something. Like that's why the Black community has the most people between the ages of 18 and 35.
Well, I think it's more of too like
all these babies have been born.
Men who have means tend to be more particular with their semen. as opposed to a man who has nothing to lose. A man who has nothing can be reckless out here.
P. Diddy got money.
Right. And most women are having sex with those men,
Eddie Murphy got money.
men who don't care and who being reckless.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
the
think- I
best,
don't think
the-
that's true.
you're right. You're right.
20% of those
Bill
men.
Gates got more money than Diddy and both of them, and ain't got as many kids.
Exactly.
So,
And he
so
had-
the
I get what
thing,
you're
the
saying.
thing
I get what
is,
you're
the
saying.
higher the men
get
with
what you're
who
saying.
have the most money, most of them have the least amount of children. They may have the max, maybe like 4, maybe 4, and that's
I
it.
won't argue that.
So like
No,
the rest of them,
no.
so it's like the men who have the least tend to have the most children because they're more
So
reckless.
Thank you,
I
Judy.
guess it's a
Whereas
false
the man who
equivalence.
has more to lose tends to be more cautious.
Easy
with
should
it.
have been.
So that's
Oh my
like a false equivalency. So
No, it's
really
not.
what it
Trigger
is
Mike,
that
Trigger Mike,
Yeah.
fall back for a second.
Go ahead.
Good evening. So just real quick, I just want to piggyback off of that because that's what I was saying earlier. Rich men do not get more play than poor people. Y'all got to stop that cap, man. They may have more access in your mind, but in reality, when it comes down to it, they're not smashing like that. They're not. Because to be rich, your calendar's full and you can't risk going on Tinder and potentially getting robbed once you show up at a place. They're not out there being irresponsible like that. Either
Hold on,
they've got,
Easy. Now
either
you crazy
they've
than a
got
tick with
girlfriends
titties.
they've had
Let
for
me
a
tell you
long
why.
time, or they're
There's
paid
an entire
pros.
hold on, Easy. There's an entire TV show on HBO, reality show called what is it called? Stories or something of a prostitute, whatever.
Black
They
man, I was
have
gonna
these
say, why is he
women.
looking over here at me?
They have these women who have cameras follow them around and they go meet with the rich. And these men have wives, they're CEOs of companies, and they come in and these women have hidden cameras on them and they do some of the freakiest shit with these women. And they come into town and the women know, they even text the women, email them. I'll be there Friday, the 12th through the 14th. I got your dresses already laid out. I already got your credit card at the local shop, get you some jewelry, and they go out with them, go out and eat with them, go to corporate dinners with them, have sex with them. So come on now, these rich men are banging these women up now.
But they're paying for that.
Black
they're
man.
paying for that privilege.
All the guys I play golf with, the guys I play golf with, they all got escort side pieces.
Right, they're paying for it.
professional. They're professional about
I
it.
thought we called them
But-
tricks, right?
No, but the Shushu's point that she was making, what it is that it's not necessarily that they have less kids. To have that level of access and money, it usually comes with an organized life. 80% of Fortune 500 CEOs are married men. When you are around other dudes and you have that type of ability and access, you have to maintain it. Everything now becomes about image more than personal preference. Some of the biggest hoes on earth are dudes that got money, but they just can't do it like everybody else. I can't be in a club with my arms around women. You know, you got to send your security guard. Like,
it's a camera.
You know, my dad is friends with Allen Iverson. I seen him do that exact thing. Like, he looking at Jordy like, well, I can't go get her. You go get her.
There's NDAs that are being signed.
Yeah.
There's lawyers involved. There's a lot
Exactly,
going
bro.
on.
You got to watch the show, Easy Money.
It's a show with writers, so I don't know how much stock I put in that.
Well, listen, I mean, I play golf with some guys. These guys make 7 figures. I don't make 7 figures a year, but these guys make 7 figures a year. They're high, we're talking about CFOs, COOs, we're talking about top profile guys, high profile guys, and they have, every time we go to the little club, I don't know if you guys know, there's a golf course called Oak Creek. It's like a little country club. And when they go in there, it's not their wife. They're not in there with their wives. They're in there with their side pieces. And these girls are coming up there. They driving Benzes. They paying the car notes. It's happening. These guys are, but they understand that they've got to cover their tracks a lot differently than a guy who doesn't have any money. They've got to cover their tracks. Because they have a lot more to lose. If they get divorced, she's taking that money.
Same girlfriend or girlfriends.
Why
they
do you have?
they can afford to pay for deletions too.
Exactly.
So while people
I haven't met a man yet that hadn't found enough
Shoo-shoo.
money for one.
Come on.
Listen, okay, so that's what I mean right there, Trey. The fact that you hubby, how are you? You sounds fine. Listen, the fact that you're trying to wanting, let me say it differently. You're seeing people live that type of life of deception, cheating, and what have you. Remember, I said initially, you got a biblical concept and that they're playing around with it. There are consequences for that. If that woman found out, there could be some deletions going on, a lot of different ways. It could be deletions of babies, deletions of themselves, that woman be taking half, or all those things that they have, the things that they work so hard for. All of those things are consequences, all because the concept that they were in, they didn't take it seriously. So I say it again. If you're not the man to be married, or you're not the woman to be married, you need to study marriage and don't do it. Just don't do it, because it requires a lot of you. You're becoming one with another person that you don't have any desire in hurting. You don't hurt yourself. And that's how you should see your spouse.
Yeah, and just like Bill Gates, worth 11, well, almost, he's a billionaire. And look at him. He's married, had him a little 19, 20-year-old girl on his side. His wife damn near found out about it probably 3 or 4 years ago. And then she got overwhelmed with it and they divorced.
Can I just throw in a caveat real quick? No, because I mean, you know, Trey's like, okay, well, if God is, you can't have marriage without God, then okay. Can you in fact have a wedding without a marriage without a marriage certificate? Because see, marriage certificates make it legal by law through the government that says that they are legally, like the government acknowledges this. Because you got a lot of dudes out here trying to get away with that too. Like, oh yeah, we can get that, but it'll be a spiritual marriage, and you know, we'll make this vow to God, just to God, but we ain't signing no legal document.
Okay, that's a joke. That's what the Bible say.
You said it's a joke?
Yeah, because what does the Bible say?
What about marriage?
Yeah, no, about that legal document. It says you obey the laws of the land. And then as long as it didn't contradict what God says, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do for that wherever you're living.
And why do you think that? I mean, depending on what state you're in, they're not even gonna let you get away with that. But why do you think men would want to do something like that? Right? A legal marriage, I don't like the power we give to legal marriages if the government actually has something to do with it, because I would love for them to know who my life insurance and stuff goes to when if I suddenly pass, right? That's all it's for. You see, if I expire. So I just want.
But they would know anyway, Trigger Mike. You have to put the list of beneficiaries.
Okay. Well, DMX's
he
girlfriend of 20-some years.
He didn't.
Let's go talk to her.
He didn't. But see, the thing is, Trigger Mike, we've gone back and forth with this. There is nothing that you can't do outside of marriage.
I'm not going to disagree with you, Trey. Wait, hold on. I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree. Now, remember, we even talked about prenups. What percentage of people actually do that?
10. I think it's less than that. It's like 8%. It's not even that.
Most people are not. We do not understand our own mortality. We think we have time to do everything. We will not file papers to have our affairs in order. The one way we can let everybody know in the world who needs to take a guess where my belongings go and who I want my stuff, bequeathed to, is marriage, right? That's all it's about. So as soon as they take away this no-fault divorce, when men feel like they won't have their children ripped away from them and everybody's going to side with the woman, as soon as all of these laws get rolled back, you will start to see that men have no problem legally marrying a woman under the law.
Why would you roll back no-fault?
So when you call it, I see Real Class says a marriage certificate, not law, it's policy. When you say legal, I consider that policy, law, what have you. If the state you live in is requiring you to have one in order to recognize your marriage as being legal, then that is what you do. If you don't want that, then you just don't want that. You're not legally married. So if you go on and you take, and actually they do a lot of things, several things before they actually give you that certificate. They make sure you don't have another wife somewhere else. They check your ages. They used to check your blood. I don't think they do that anymore. So it's more than just a certificate per se. They do some research on you and who you are. So, but it is the federal government, and the other person that says God's law supersedes the government, it absolutely does. But he actually tells you to obey the laws of where you live. So, but they can't contradict each other.
I'm not. The government knows what it's doing. Trey, you should know that. If spouse gets deleted, who is the number one suspect?
The spouse.
The spouse.
Exactly. They gonna know immediately.
We looking at.
So you already know the government knows what they're doing.
So wait 1 second, Trigger. I think hubby wanted to say something to Trey before we get away from that and go a different direction.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay. Go ahead.
I got cut out. I wanted to see if I could reason with Trey a little bit more. The reason I asked you if it was okay to kill, because it's relevant. And the answer is, I mean, you gave the correct answer, which is it all depends, right? And so that's no different with divorce. Divorce is something that is not okay in God's eyes. He hates it, but it all depends. If you do something that he outlined you should not do, and he gave you the only opportunity that you have for divorce, then although he hates it, he's still okay with you doing it. So that's not you doing something against God. That's you doing something, you exercising a freedom or choice that God gave you. Psychologically speaking, it's very difficult for many people after they've been cheated on to love that person the same. And I think our Creator knows that, which is why infidelity is the one and only thing that you have the option to divorce for. So that's one. And the notion that God is in all things is kind of like it's like a convoluted statement to make. It's ambiguous because, like, what do you mean when you say God is in all things? Is he also in the things he hates? Is he in the things that he didn't create or intend for us to have to deal with? Like, he didn't create the atom bomb, we did. Is he in the atom bomb? So it's like that statement has to be explained more. So, or at least elaborated on more. But people don't. They just say it. So, is God in all things? With respect to this conversation, is he in marriage? I mean, depends on if we are exercising faith in God. Then yeah, he's in your marriage because his word and his principles, his teachings, his thoughts, his compassion is in your marriage. Then yeah, he's in your marriage. But if you have a marriage that doesn't reflect any of God's thinking, his ways, then it's safe to say he's not in your marriage.
I think what I hear a lot and what I believe is all things are spiritual. But I have a question for you all, because this is something that came up the other day and I've been thinking about it. And my conclusion, I'm not going to tell you my answer, but I want to hear it from you all. There was a question far as who created sin, or did God create sin? What do you all think about that?
Trey, what do you say?
Trey created sin, I'm sure.
I take
whoever else created it.
That's for certain.
Is his descendant or
it's a valid question because
I enjoy some of the sins that I commit. Yes, I would imagine that God created sin.
Okay, all right, Trigger. What do you think? Hold on for a minute, but go ahead, Trey. I mean, excuse me. Go ahead, Trigger.
Oh no, I was just gonna damn, what was I gonna say?
No,
I think sin may be a byproduct of our free will. So I think we sin.
Absolutely.
Is a byproduct.
Actually, you are correct. But in terms of what semantics, God created the ability to sin.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Adam rather, introduced sin to mankind.
Nice.
Correct. So Trey, I hope that answers a lot more of your questions. I mean, there was the good and evil, we were never supposed to have knowledge of that. So a lot of times people think that God created this sinful nature and this evilness evil, yeah, but the sinful things that we do, we put that on God. You just asked the question, why would God let this happen? He didn't. It's us. We're the individuals that are verbally, I should say, are acting out in sin. It's not God. So did that help a little bit? No.
He's still coming tomorrow. He ain't listening to us. Hold on. The Beyonce concert was last night in his area. He been sitting all night long. That's why he look like he in a sauna detox.
Beyonce, what?
I was at home. I had nothing to do with that. at all, and I
The
didn't
city was
partake. I did not
outside.
partake in any sinning last night. Actually, thank
Everybody
you.
from where I'm from was in DC last night, and
I did partake in some sinning on Friday night, but
those
not last night.
those
Sinning and
outfits I saw.
syphilis.
No, that's down in Texas where you at, black man, not up here.
Yes, syphilis
So,
sinners.
Yeah, the syphilis is definitely in Texas. Black man, what were you going to say? What is it?
I know.
The numbers are going up.
But no, I was going to say
Not
he didn't
syphilis,
create sin; he created sinners. That's what I was going to say. But
I did want to ask you a question,
already.
Trey. If it's all right. Yeah. Okay.
You said Trey or me?
Trey. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trey, you said you said why you were asking a series of questions, and one of them was why would God not allow me to protect myself? Something to that extent. Did I get it right?
I don't know what you're talking about. What exactly was the topic? Maybe I can help try to jog my memory.
It was when we were speaking and you said, why would God not allow me to protect myself in a marriage? Something to that extent. Right after I asked the question. I know what you're
talking about. He was talking about the selfish part. When you
Correct.
said, when I'm with her, I'm not selfish, but when I'm not married to her anymore, I become selfish.
Oh, when I get a divorce and I want to
there you go.
myself, then I'm selfish, right?
Yeah. So, were you asking, do you think that you're considered selfish if you divorce, period, like outright?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I have been told that I'm too selfish to be married. And what I find interesting about that is while I'm with a woman, I'm never ever called selfish. Never. I've never been called selfish when I was in a relationship. I've always been called selfless and generous. What I have, you have, right? Regardless of how hard I worked for it. But what I always find interesting is that when it's over and we're no longer together, what's mine is mine. Right? We're not together anymore. And now I've become a selfish man. But when we were together, I wasn't selfish. So to me, it seems the same way in a marriage. While we're together, we're married. Yeah. My house, your house, it's our house. Everything, it's all ours. Right? I have no issues with that. I get that concept. But when we get divorced and I start saying, well, listen, I want to make sure I keep this that I work for and this brokerage account and blah, 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 and you start listing down your assets. Now, all of a sudden, I'm a selfish man.
Okay.
And that doesn't make sense to me.
I agree with that.
100%. That's not what I was trying to say. I was basically.
But that was the point I was making.
Was anyone saying that? Like, was anyone making that point against you? Was anyone saying that you actually were selfish?
I think SB has tried to slide in a few times that I'm selfish. I don't think she's outrightly said it, but I think she's covertly underneath said, Trey, you're too selfish to be married.
Well, it's just based on the energy and the things that you say. When you go into a marriage, you have to go with the concept that you're going to become one with a woman. There's no, this is mine, this is yours. But I agree with the prenup if that's what you got to have. I'm not taking that away from you. But the mindset has to change. You becoming one with a woman. It's no more, this is mine, and you can use it while we together. You can use it while we together. No,
he going to jail. SB, he already made it clear that he ain't just gonna be with one woman. So
it's not something that I'm saying. It's something that you're saying. I'm just listening to what you're saying.
So I'm just gonna keep it at my house.
But can we be honest that divorces they're not pretty. They're ugly and they're nasty. They're ruthless.
So don't get one.
Okay, I agree with you, but what if it's not up to me?
So that's the part that
what if it's not up to me? And now I got to fight, SB. I got to fight for what I have.
No, I agree with the prenup. I agree with the prenup. I do. I agree because you are an established man.
A prenup would actually be beneficial because it would already have been outlined. I'm not worried about that, and actually, that would be me being less selfish because we've already agreed to what she's going to get out of it. We already know what she's going to get out of it.
I agree with you protecting yourself, so I'm not.
No, nothing. She needs to get nothing out of it. That's
not how prenups work.
No, I'm gonna say if I would, man, don't make me the governor of Texas, boy. I'm wreaking havoc
The
on
governor
this.
already
So,
signed
Trey, I
enough.
think you
with
might
the
be
current state
conflating
that we have here,
like two
women,
different
if they're
things.
going to, it's really the woman's selfishness in modern times that's destroying the institution of marriage. The ability to leave and get something like you deserve it. When you give that ruthless example of a woman cheating on her husband, then leaving him for another guy, and then him having to pay child support and alimony, that's the part where I'm like, nah, no way. A man's provision needs to be tied to him. So if you leave him, do so with the knowledge that you are no longer entitled and will not receive said provision. And if you cannot take care of his children without him, then he should have custody. These are common sense things. Don't let me become governor of the smug. I'm tearing y'all a new one.
Well,
Trigger, that was my argument.
Now,
that was my argument.
If y'all started off young and y'all literally built assets together, then if y'all do divorce, those assets should be divvied up because y'all built those together.
No, divvied up.
If y'all and as far as like the children goes, I mean, even though y'all not together, you still have a responsibility to the children because you're still the father. Point.
Shoo, here's my issue. Here's my issue. Because this was my argument. I don't disagree that I should take care of my kids. I understand that. But why can't I get full custody if I don't need money from her? I don't need money from. I don't need anything from her. Why can't I get full custody if she has full custody, but she needs money from me?
Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Run me them kids.
You're making all the money. You don't want to got all the money.
Okay,
so
if I can give the child a better life, then I should have the kids.
Exactly.
Why should you at work then?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But Trey, like you're not really being.
These are common sense principles that I will
put
back
and one of the most. In 1 second, hubby, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you cook. And one of the most.
We got to call him something different. Hold on. Pause.
That didn't
Pause,
flow
black
right?
man.
Yeah,
Yo,
pause.
bro, we got to get your name, bro. We got to get your name.
Listen, black man.
Yeah, black man, you let that slip. We're gonna let it slide.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Listen, black man is a secure man. He don't. It doesn't.
Thank you, brother. We will call you brother. But I'll say
you didn't even miss a beat, black man. You just said it. You didn't even miss a beat.
Right.
One of the most famous
divorces. All right, hubby, I'm gonna let you cook.
right.
One of the most famous divorces in Texas, right? In Texas, was the divorce between Deion Sanders and Pilar. And Deion had all the money, right? She didn't have no prenup, right? Deion went to court. She said, "I'm going to take you for everything." They had a big argument. Police came out. She was very aggressive toward Deion. Deion said, "You're going to take me to court in Texas, where I'm beloved, to try to take all my money." He said, "Okay." He went to court. He got custody of every one of his children. He got all his money and all his properties. They ordered him to pay her like $800 and some $1,000, and that was it. And to this day, he still got all his kids, all his kids, all of them together. Where he go, they go. Private planes, they own it with him.
Yeah, so, Deion is the.
Can I tell y'all what the judge? Can I tell y'all what the judge did? Can I tell y'all what the judge did when my attorney offered that solution? When my attorney offered the solution that I take our daughter full time.
You do have a daughter.
She doesn't have to give me anything. You know what the judge did? The judge took a 90-minute recess. That's what the judge did. Damn. The judge was just like, "I'm not even going to answer the question. We're at recess." And then my attorney, when we got back into the session, my attorney did it again. Asked again, like, why can't it just be this way? This is a simpler way. If she agrees to it, and I even would have agreed, she could have whatever schedule she wanted. She could have whatever. She named the schedule, she could have it. Just give me full custody. I don't need a dime from you. You can have whatever schedule you want. And her attorney objected and said that our daughter would be, I forgot the exact verbiage that he used, but something along the lines that because it's a girl, she should be with her mom. Something along basically what he's saying, because it's a girl, she should be with her mom. And it was just like, okay,
statistically speaking, kids do well with their fathers.
I know that, you know that. But I'm just making. I'm not. Listen, I said this to you before, SB. I know that marriage works. I have family members that have been married for decades. I have a great aunt that was married for 60 some odd years, right? Like she's in her 90s. I understand that marriage works. I get it, right? But I also think that sometimes we forget the reality of some things. And certain men are in certain positions where it ain't a good look. It can be really, really bad if it doesn't work out. And I think the issue is that if there's only one conclusion, it has to work. That's it. That's the only conclusion I have. It has to work, because if it doesn't work, I'm up shit creek without a paddle.
Not if you get
I mean, I agree with what you're saying.
That's tough. That's tough for me to get through my head.
No, I agree. And I also have come to the conclusions that it's very hard for you to see what I see. So
I did want to say, I think we're pretending away the reality that courts don't make way more money toward forcing the men to pay and the women to have the kids. Let's just act like we see the reality that there's so much more money to be made by the women having children and the men having to pay, because the men will be workhorses and the women will not. Look at the stats. Why do you think the gender pay gap even exists? It's because men work way more hours, more difficult jobs, more dangerous jobs, and hand over fist. So
that's true. But now we've hit a fever pitch. Now we've hit a fever pitch in society where they understand that this has scaled in the favor and in the wrong direction, right? So they never expected this amount of degeneracy, this amount. The bad news is that women cannot be in charge of our children. They cannot create the trajectory of our children's lives absence of the father's input. Let me say it like that. All right, because I am 100% candid, and I will tell anybody who will listen or give me a platform that my kids are exceptional. And the moment I leave this house, they're taking a step down. Okay, there's no doubt about it.
I agree.
Okay, so the way that I discipline them, the way that they're at attention like little soldiers, all right, the way they listen to instruction, the way they are kind to their peers, kind to their elders, that comes from me. They be throwing their mama around this house. No, all credit to her for everything she does and reads to them and all of that. But all of that comes under my discipline and my instruction. And that is what most of the children today are missing. And when we go back to a society, and this is why I love foreign women so much. And I'm not really passport. I'm not really passport bro-esque. But what I'm trying to say is that we need a mindset switch in our women, because women of other ethnic groups, they look at this different. When they say marriage, they're like, ooh, my kids are gonna grow up with a strong sense of self. I've heard an Indian woman say, divorce, I will die before I leave my children without a father. Have you ever heard an American woman say that? No.
Not say it, but I've seen some live through some situations where it was probably not the best, but they were not going to be single mothers. I've seen that before.
First of all, I think a lot of this changed with modern day society, because the bottom line is this: I came up on an old school mama.
Yep.
The bottom line is, we knew you better not go to school and act up. My mama was like, I better not get a call on my job from the teacher talking about y'all was acting up. I came up under that kind of mama. When my mama said sit down, better yet, I had one of mamas, she didn't even have to say nothing. She look at you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where that changed in terms of parenting nowadays. But
so your mom was a single mom?
No.
Oh, okay.
But listen, let's picture.
Like, even if my mom was a single mom, like you just don't have mothers that do that. Like they,
right. But what Trigger Mike is saying, even like as being a father myself, my kids will be here, they'll have a certain type of behavior. But when I walk through the door, right, you get that, I can hear them.
I'm saying what I'm saying is the respect was there for the mother and the father.
Right.
So it's like my mama didn't have to go get my daddy and say, "Oh, you need to get your kids," because no.
Well, listen, let's say it a little bit.
I was gonna say real quick, because we co-parent, and there is a fundamental difference in my daughter's behavior when we split. versus when we lived in the same house together. My daughter's behavior changed to the point where, I would have to get on FaceTime to talk to my daughter to remind her that daddy's still around, because there was times when she probably was thinking, oh, he's not right here in the house. I can kind of get away with things with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
So it does. The father not being in the house, it affects big time.
Well, honey,
So listen, let's listen to let's talk to
Yeah.
Easy. Let's talk to Easy really quick, because he's been very quiet, and he was like a topic of discussion not too long ago. Go ahead, Easy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make
you have
it
the right
quick.
to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of my law.
I'm telling you, Easy. That's
Oh,
how
no,
it
baby,
is
I
right
said-
now.
Not you
do not have an attorney,
Mirandizing
one will
him.
be
Not you
provided.
He be going
Mirandizing.
off. He be going
You know
off.
what? Let me say this real quick, Easy, before you go. Black man, I think we do need to do a court show. Go ahead, Easy.
All right, so just real quick, I just want to push back on 3 things, and then I got to go put my kids to bed. So one, I push back on this notion that I should just give, the court should just give the kids to the dad. That way the dad don't got to pay child support. That is a wild concept, understanding one, the fundamental bias that the courts have to where the mother is best, because typically the moms are the ones taking them to school, getting them ready for school, taking them to doctor's appointments. Most fathers don't know their kids' doctors' names. They don't know what they're to.
That's
they
a
don't
lie.
know their birth
That's
name.
a lie.
Not
The
captured.
CDC just released 51% of men
That's a
who
lie.
are doing homework with their children. They sit down and
That's
do their
a lie.
homework. They take them to doctor's appointments. They take them to basketball games. They are in their
That's a
lives.
lie.
Over half of men in the Black community are taking care of their children.
So Easy Money.
So
Let me
I
just
don't
add
know
this.
where
Let
you
me
get that
add this.
from.
Can y'all
Let me
him
add
get
this, Easy
through?
Money.
I can
This
tell
is
you my
why.
kids' doctors' names and they
Hold
doctor's
on. Not
appointments
only
when they go.
I'm the one who goes to most doctor's appointments, and then let me tell you why that's
Me
cap.
too, brother.
The reason why it's cap is because people got to understand that if only 10% of women are stay-at-home moms, that means women work too, and it could be any mix of hours. So when I take my children to Spanish school, and we all got to get out the car and pull our kids in there, half dads, half moms, every time, because it's no telling who had to go to work first. By nature, most men will just be taking care of their kids, doing the morning routine. That's me. Okay, so we can't act like women arrange their whole life around
get them up
just
in the
their
morning.
children. That's absolutely not true.
Exactly.
Okay, so wait a minute. Are y'all
Trigger
scared?
Mike, I think the reason he I don't know if it was unintentional, but it was an incorrect statement. This correct statement is courts give custody predominantly to the women because they're viewed as safer, not better parents, but they're viewed
Safer.
as
No, they're not even safer parents. That's
regardless of what it is in actuality. I'm telling you what courts do.
Court says,
But that's kind of hard for that to happen because most little girls, they end up being touched by who? Mama's boyfriend.
I mean, that's
Mama's
after
boyfriend.
So even I'm not calling him.
So they're
my
not
man at the
safer.
bottom.
You hear that, Easy?
My man at the bottom.
Not
So
safer.
I understand
I'm sorry.
what you're
Go ahead,
saying.
Easy, finish.
The
So real
courts,
quick,
the courts have a preconceived notion about about women and children, which all prove to be not true. You're right. Yeah.
Right. So to that point, this is my second point of the double talk of men are these providers who don't have time for their families, but yet we're reversing it and saying, well, I do this and I do that. You can't be working 60. I'm just saying you can't do all the work.
Who created this narrative? Was it men or was it women? To be fair, who created the narrative about men? It was women.
We patriarchy. We did, and we
no women.
No, it was
men have been absent from media.
That's,
Hold on, black men have been absent from media for 30 years. How did we create this narrative about ourselves?
No, please stop saying that. That's not true.
No, what he's talking about is the actual stat, the statistic that men work longer hours, and like it's been put into average. So on average, it's 40 something, but in reality, you take averages out. There's some guys working like 55. 56, 57, 60 hours. That's 20 extra hours for the guy who works 40 hours. It's like,
but you got to also understand that
days.
you got to still understand that they never challenged that notion, because majority of men, when they have
who never challenged what notion, JT?
The courts. They never challenged the notion because they the most part give. I'm about to tell you. For the most part, they give the custody to the mother.
What give the custody. Did they not challenge?
The challenge that when men that they don't have the time to take care of their children, that because they're always out working. That could be in a marriage, but not if you're in a point where he's a single dad. Mm-hmm. How many people have the opportunity to be single dads though?
But you know, it's not up to the courts to challenge that notion. It's up to the attorney of the father.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if they're still going to hold that notion that women are safer, that men don't have time to take care of their children, without challenging that notion, then they're just bringing something off the top of their head when it comes down to that.
But they wouldn't.
Just like what Trigger Mike and Black Man just said. These, when you see it, these children that are being taken care of by their father, they have a better chance at life.
Yeah, because we're more organized. And just like I was saying, he said we work all these hours. I work hella hours, right? Come in and do these shows, and I can show you a calendar on my wall where Javian's doctor's appointment is on the 8th. Marlena's on the 17th. And I'm already structured to be ready to take my kids where they need to go and still do what I need to do. You have to be able to make sacrifices. It doesn't matter if you're a man. It doesn't matter if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you just got off work. I come in, I cook. You know,
nobody cares.
I'm gonna create another channel and show you the day by day what I do in this house with 6 children.
So
and I
you know what it is.
People with 4 children couldn't do it.
You were on the show when I said the reason. Like, let's be real. Mothers are glorified, and we forget how that happens. Mothers actually suck without dad present. They are real routinely. They struggle without dad's presence. In fact, there is a statistic. It just came out like 2 months ago that says the number one precursor for a woman who is known as a successful mother is the support of her husband and or life partner. Literally, that's the only measurement. It's like how much support you get from that man determines how good of a mother you are to your children. That we glorify mom, and routinely dad wants her to be known as the best parent. But that only happens when dads are around. We want that. I don't let my kids, when my kids do something wrong to their mother, I call her my wife. Don't disrespect my wife.
Exactly.
Right? I want her to be glorified, but that only happens under my leadership. So we got to remember that men are not out here looking for recognition for the stuff that we do. We understand that all of this would not be going down without us. That's why it goes to hell, when we're not around.
So what you're saying is the nuclear family is the answer.
Always.
And that's why Mother's Day is the second most celebrated holiday in the world, and Father's Day is number 20.
But we had that conversation, BMU. We can't participate in patriarchy and say, I don't need a pat on the back. I don't get to be vulnerable. I'm this man who just works and that's my identity, but then turn around and cry about Father's Day. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
I didn't cry about Father's Day. I said men are not recognized.
Easy money. You're combining like everybody's statements, and they're different people making them. There's some men who say, oh man, don't nobody care about Father's Day, and then there's some men who don't care about Father's Day. So when you combine like everyone's words, there's going to be a contradiction, but they're not all the same person. You have to find the contradiction in one person's words, and then you can point that out and say, hey, there's a little bit of an issue here. You can't complain about not having any money and also never want to go to work.
Yeah.
So listen, Reckless Ray has joined the panel. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I was trying to shower.
Answer my question. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Absolutely wonderful. Just got done training.
Okay, go ahead.
I was trying to take a shower and go to sleep before you called me up. I said, yes, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? You gotta listen when people talk to you. So this is an interesting conversation. You guys lambast poor Trey up here, man. I can't. I came up to help the homie out.
He's used to it.
Hey, what area did you want to help him out in?
I mean, I understand where he's coming from. This man has gone through these things, and everybody's talking from a standpoint of like, y'all have been married, like you're not out here dealing with these women, with what's out here. And like, this is coming from somebody. So before anybody says, oh, I'm alone, I've got a dope chick. But finding the right one, and like I've dated some really great women that just weren't a fit for me. So I don't have necessarily as doom and gloom, but 100% the stuff that I started off with, the stuff that I've built myself, nobody helped me. My family didn't even help me. I did this. It's my stuff. So like what's coming in, there is going to be a prenup because I own things.
But no one, Reckless Ray, no one's against prenups, you know? Like
Yeah, but it's the whole like the selfishness piece. It's like, no, I don't think people understand how hard, because like it's a generational conversation where it's like,
Reckless Ray, can you give us like more concise what you're targeting specifically? The statement that people who divorce are selfish?
I mean, I can agree that it depends on the nature of the divorce, but I know that people get petty and selfish when people divorce. People get petty and selfish when people pass away and stuff isn't clearly defined. You'll see siblings do the exact same thing. When money is involved and emotions are involved, people can get selfish. Now, I'm 100% for the stuff that is built together while you were together. You split that. She was there for that. She helped you ascertain that. The issue that I see when I see divorces happen is the divorces that I've seen, because I don't plan to get a divorce either. I mean, obviously the best defense is a strong offense. You don't plan to get divorced. But I have seen women go through a hormonal change that women go through and wake up one day and be like, I'm running away with my 14-year-old sweetheart. I'm leaving you and the kids. Oh, by the way, I don't want to work. To a man that set her up with everything, because I am in very wealthy circles. Just woke up one day and was like, I don't want to do this. What control did he have over that? Is he selfish for wanting to protect his stuff? And I mean, he got custody.
Ray, selfishness and protection should not be in the same sentence. You know, we're not saying if you want to protect your stuff, your assets, you're selfish. We're saying the root cause. Like I think I'm sorry, not Reckless Ray, but I think Trey was saying that the leading cause of divorce was something money, right? And then but he stopped there. He didn't consider what was underneath the money, right? Why is money the leading cause of divorce? There's a reason. You know, it's not the money itself doesn't make people do anything. Like it's how people view the money. That's what makes them do something. It's the people. So something in their mind. And so what's in their mind predominantly it's me. You know, I'm just thinking about me. And so that would be called selfishness. In you know, generally speaking, but it's in all things. It's not just money. No. If you divorce because you're sick of someone leaving the toilet seat up and leaving their clothes around, that's selfish, because that's not what you got married for. You didn't get married to simply divorce for idiosyncrasies. You got married to put up with those things for better or for worse. So it's all tied to selfishness. And I think Trey was missing, he was looking for like, you know, the manosphere red pill like statistic answer. But the manosphere doesn't hit everything. And sometimes they get things wrong outright. You know, the answer is not simply something that you can check in a box. It's what's going on in the minds of people.
I mean, when it comes down to somebody trying to extract resources from me, I don't really care what they're thinking. I mean, like I think the issue is that when you're looking at it from a perspective of preserving self, is like if you take half the stuff or whatever and it gets petty and you're going and you're taking every single thing, you're taking the kids, you're utilizing the children as weapons. These are things that like our current court system that nobody is advocating against. I mean, nobody said anything about the wonderful thing that DeSantis did down in Florida by removing permanent alimony. Nobody wants to talk about that. Like that's an actual win. That's actual progress. Like we're setting up in a system, and like me personally, I do plan to get married for tax reasons, but like
So Reckless, let me say this, because this is what I said to Trey, and I think maybe you heard a little bit of it and maybe not all. When you go into a marriage, you need to know what marriage is about. It's a concept. It's a biblical concept. And if you go into that marriage with self-preservation, you are being selfish going in, and you shouldn't bother going in. Listen, a prenup is definitely what you should do, but you need to understand when you marry a woman, biblically, through a marriage, it is you and her becoming one. She is no longer that other woman. You all are one. So we don't naturally just plan for the divorce. That's not the thought process of an individual who is getting married through covenant, through commitment, and through faithfulness. It's just not automatic. Now you could do your prenup,
But
the mind.
she's not saying she's against prenup. She's not saying there's
No,
something wrong.
But my question is, who plans for divorce though? Like, I mean,
what Security Boss is saying is like, when you get a prenup, she's saying one or the other. And Miss Security Boss, you can correct me if I'm wrong. She's either saying that by getting the prenup itself, which I don't think she's saying, you're considering divorce outright or in the outset, or she's saying that there can be a psychological, almost like a power shift in your direction, because now you have the prenup and it's going to look better for you in divorce, and so you can almost get the mindset of like, if you do this and I don't like it, there might be a consequence, hint. So that's what I think. That's all she's trying to get at.
I would honestly say, because I like to look at things realistically. The reason you have such a low, I think it's like 10 to 13%. Only that's the only amount of people that have prenups at all ever. It's like 10% of people even draft them. That's because look at the age at which most people get married. The age of first marriage for men is now like 30 point something. For women, it's like 29.4. Well, don't nobody got no damn money at that age. Not really anyway. College debt is out of control, right? You're not thinking about it. And we have all heard the phrase, when men love for real. We are not thinking about divorce. And remember what I said, when men do things, we do it in the terms to honor, either honor God, honor the woman. And really what it is about the prenup,
But
this is why I don't really care.
Mike, I know you are also like many of us in that, like, there's some hard boundaries you can have with a woman. And if they dare try to test the boundaries, like you're not even gonna, it's not okay. That was chance number one. It was like that you have no other chances. And so I don't think you're considering divorce with that in mind, but divorce is the only consequence if you say like, this is, you will not leave my children, home alone, and while I'm at work and you go out and just do something, for hours.
Yeah.
So you're going to draw a hard boundary with certain things. And it's not that you have divorce in the back of your mind. It's just, there is no other way. It's either this way or we cannot work.
What leverage does a man have in any relationship with a woman aside from his willingness to leave and remove himself from her?
But before I answer that question, I mean, would you agree that you're also that way, right? You do have hard boundaries, correct?
100%.
Okay, that's fair. No, I'm sorry. So Reckless Ray, yes, you agree. Trigger Mike, are you also in agreement?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry, Reckless Ray. Go ahead and ask that again.
Oh no, I was saying, like, to your point, I was like, what leverage does any man have in any relationship with a woman, period, aside from his willingness to remove himself from that woman?
None. And we don't really need it. So when we look at it, the courts and stuff is trying to find a legal way to do what men were already going to do. The bad part is that we don't like being told by other entities that we need to do something we were already going to do. If they took away child support today and women cared about being married to honorable men, nothing would change. As a matter of fact, you would get more. You would get more than the courts allow. Right?
100%.
Most men, like, I forgot what.
I mean, because sometimes child support is like absurd. So like we're talking 40-something% of a man's paycheck. Like, do the math.
No, but the average payment is $400 a month. The average.
No, that's think about the Trigger Mike. Think about
I'm not even talking about child support or the good part is, what I'm saying is men give freely. Remember when
but you said
men
more.
Think about,
you said men would probably pay more, and like,
they would.
On average, child support is $400, but people don't live in averages. They live in their one life, and that's it. So
what I'm really saying is that men would freely give to their children without thought. Would freely give to the children, and even the woman, if like they left the woman. If they left the woman, I think what men have is compassion for the condition that we create. So that's benevolence only really comes from men when you think about it. I didn't understand what my dad was meaning when he said, or he couldn't be in the room when he didn't come in the room. He wasn't there yet when my first child was born. He said, "This is where it all changed. This is where you start to understand." And my dad's Nigerian. He just leaves stuff and leave you wondering, like, understand what? And then he explained later. When you watch that woman struggle to push your baby out, it just gives you a sense like, damn, she did this for me. I caused this. You see what I'm saying? So naturally, we feel indebted to you in a type of way. This is why when you don't see most men, Jeff Bezos gave out the largest divorce settlement in history. He never complained. He never wrote a tweet or nothing, because what we really realize is that men's God is not money. This is why we don't really care. Our number one cheat code in life is our resourcefulness, our ability to build ourselves and rebuild ourselves from nothing. This is why we're not always so willing to get a prenup, right? Or anything like that, because it's like, I'll be all right. Let my wife divorce me. She just kickstarted Trigger Mike 2.0, and I'm gonna be like, that's the spirit that most men have with these things, I think.
Hey, so Reckless Ray, what was your disagreement though? There's something.
Well, it just seemed like it kept circling around back to the whole he's selfish thing, and it's like this dude actually like went through a nightmare scenario for most men, and instead of acknowledging his experience and I understand after talking with him why he believes the way that he believes, and he doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. Let that man have his whole harem of women, and he can get a dog and do what he does till the end of his life. He's good. He's already reproduced.
But is
like,
it,
I don't think you're going to
be married again within 5 years.
So Ray, what if he did go through a very tough relationship, probably harder than anything we've ever been through, and he's still divorced for a selfish reason? Is it fair that we can acknowledge his pain and struggle, but still also say that the reason behind it might not have been the best?
That's subject to. I mean, I'm not living in your home. Like, I don't live in your castle. I would never tell you why you should or shouldn't leave your situation.
Let's
I'm
say
not
he
you.
gave you all the details.
But hold on for a minute. Let's add something to this. What we were talking about is reasons why divorces happen. It wasn't Trey or a man or a woman. It was just across the board. So women typically, we already said it's 70%. They're
over
selfish.
money.
Yes, when they leave their marriages. So it's not a man thing. So just understand that selfishness happens on both parties. So just if Trey suffered some type of traumas through some things that he's gone through, that doesn't make him any less if he takes that same mindset into a marriage and doesn't respond to what the marriage is supposed to be about.
But I think it's logical for a man who has gone through a divorce and has seen the carnage that could happen firsthand to go, I've got to be prepared if I should partake in this again. Like, generally speaking, you burn your hand on the stove one time, you put a mitt on next time you go to grab whatever it was that you burnt your hand on.
This is why it makes sense for Trey.
But
hold on real quick.
Sorry, Mike.
Hold on real quick, bro. This is why it makes sense for Trey, because like I said, most men, we have nothing around the time of our first marriage. If you do have something to protect, that makes sense. But the difference between most men after their first marriage is they have a legacy to protect, which means children. I have to now protect what is left to them. So that is, and I believe even in biblical terms, you do protect what you intend to pass on. You are supposed to create that legacy and that continuation for your seed. So you cannot allow, and usually when we say second wife, that's personal. That's for you, right? So you shouldn't allow something that is purely, for you to interrupt what you have done from like your seeds, what you're leaving to your seeds. So I 100% understand that the second goal.
Okay, so Reckless, I agree. One more second, then I'll let you do this. Reckless, I agree with you. It is very logical to have that thought process, but marriage in itself is a mystery on how a person and one man and one woman become one. That's a mystery. So there's no logic there. That is something you have to believe in and desire.
I can
So
100% agree with that.
that's the difference. That's the part where that's what we were talking about. And if you don't have that, or if you logically can't see that that could happen, that's where we were saying you should maybe stay away from being married.
So I think in the times that we currently live in, like that's the generational gap then, is because we have the information. We're seeing now, like we're hearing and seeing what these men are going through. We're seeing this carnage happen. And so it's like, yes, for me personally, business reasons, I want to get married. But I know what could happen. I know what I see happen to men, not on YouTube, in real life. Like I know the devastation that a woman can cause after a long period of time for no reason. I'm seeing these things. Like I'm in these fields where I'm seeing wealthy men, just women are waking up going, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And they provided everything. This woman hasn't worked in 20 years. Woke up one day, hormones have changed. I'm going to go do this. The opposition always has a say. And so the way that we have to come into this at this juncture, because there's so much information, we can go, especially if you're on YouTube, you can go look at there's whole YouTube channels, a whole YouTube sphere where they're teaching women how to finesse men.
But Ray, those are two, it's a valid statement you're making, but those are two different things. Women deciding to leave because marriage favors them is not the same with Trey having, you know, some trust issues and some baggage from his previous marriage, and therefore he should probably consider not stepping into another marriage unless you're willing. Like when you marry, it's my wife can go and open up a bank account, my name and social security number, and cash a check made out to me. That is what you open yourselves up to when you get married. So then if you have trust issues that you have yet to resolve, I ask you, Ray, why on earth would it make sense to you to get into another contract with someone that puts you in the predicament to where you can feel the same hurt again?
Before healing, it doesn't.
Correct.
Before healing, it doesn't.
And so
I personally have fallen victim to exactly that, like getting out of a relationship, being messed up, going in and messing up somebody else.
Yeah.
Because you just out here doing what you do. Like I understand that piece of it. I just when it comes to like
your other part, I mean that's a fair complaint you make, and you know we can't go into the details of every reason like why. I mean, there's like courts make marriage advantageous for women. You know, marrying a wealthy guy is super advantageous for a woman. I mean, for anybody. Like, I don't believe in, you know, these so-called marriages between the same sex. It's not marriages between a man and woman, but if you want to call it that, like those marriages also are sketchy because the spouse can still want your stuff, whether it's two men or two women, right? It's just the setup. The setup is what really like turns people's aim to financial gain in a marriage. That's the issue. So yeah, they're the byproducts. Those women trying to finesse men, they're byproducts of the system, but the system is the issue.
Can I ask a question though?
Sure.
Do you guys think that, and this is speaking to the younger generation, do you think that dating or courting should be more intense than what it is right now? Should it be more deliberate? Would it help?
We need to take away dating entirely.
Dating I'm saying courting to marriage, for marriage. I'm not talking about dating to waste time.
When we need to go back into a system of courting, because one of the things that we need to pay very close attention is that it's very easy for our, let me not even say women, let's say our daughters, our sisters, etc., to be corrupted by the dating process. It puts pressure on them to have sex to keep the man around. Courting involved your family. It involved people you trusted, helping you vet that man. The one thing the modern woman does not want to admit is that she does not know what she's doing when it comes to the dating process, and she cannot trust herself and her decision making.
Hey, Mike, and you know the crazy part is it starts early. They like women start having intercourse. Well, I shouldn't even say women. Young girls start having intercourse to keep a man's interest in high school. Like it starts super early.
Middle school.
They say middle school. It is middle school. So
Yeah,
listen,
it's
this
wild.
is a good
It's
place.
wild.
Listen, this is a good place. Let's read these super chats. And thank you, Sir Nakumbi, for your $10 cash app. Thank you so much. Great convo. But Clement Gray, thank you for your $2 super chat. He said, read Jeremiah 3:8. Even God divorced Israel. John the Baptist, thank you for your $5 super chat. In traditional relationship, women spend more time with the kids. Trey, what's up with you? How you doing? You've been quiet tonight, but Trey, mindset and words are his issues. Number one, as a man thinketh, so is he. Number two, words are spirit and life. Last, life doesn't give you what you want, but who you are. I like that. Thank you, Dre, for your $5 super chat. He says marriage is godly. It's a godly union with God. Godly principles. Trying to operate with your wisdom won't end well. It's a spiritual union where two become one, threefold. Thank you for that. And insightful truth. Wait a minute. Insightful truth talk with the doc. Thank you for your $10 super chase. And shout out to SB and panel mods and those in the chat listening in. A reality check, deep combo. Thank you. And again, Doc says, trust issues are for life. If you don't, all right, y'all hear that? Trust issues are for life if you don't do the work. And it will impact every relationship, including the one with yourself and God. If you don't do the inner work, denial will not allow the work to happen. So listen here, guys. We're gonna end the show on that. That's a drop the mic right there. You have to get help for that lack of trust. So listen, Black man, shout out what you're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are going to talk about the agenda and talk about our children, how they're being affected by the agenda. Is there an agenda? I think so. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. If you have not subscribed, please go over and subscribe and hit the notification button so you know when we go live.
All right, guys. So listen, this has been an awesome night. It was good to be with you all a little longer. I'm going to be back on Wednesday night. I have no idea what time. So y'all know me and Mr. Boss going to put out something for you all to see. But look for me on Wednesday night. Go to Black Man tomorrow night, me on Wednesday night, and we can continue this conversation. We're going to add a little bit more to it. But until then, peace. Oh, and hubby and high value wife, it's good to see you guys, and you are welcome to be here anytime. And anyone else that's the first time here, make sure you give us a thumbs up as you're coming into the live, and also subscribe to the channels. Thank you very much. Peace.
Please don't go. Don't think it's in me to listen to flow. It's so different with distance. We roam into zones where nothing get heard anymore. I just wish I was home when I step through front door, but instead I'm alone and completely unsure. And even though you're screaming out with the best of intentions, I don't get it. Why do you always gotta ask me to stay? Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. Say, why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher you off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in a daze, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove here. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can fall out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Are you crying? And I'm trying to find the reasons, so I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black? I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul. On the road, I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul. On the road.